bastard sermon, you motherfuckers.
Welcome to another episode of the Bastard Sermon. I'm one of your three hosts, Cody Hucker.
Patrick Sada.
And Luke Young.
And we've got our good friend, Jesus, what's wrong with my mouth? We've got our good friend on, Lucia Smith. Everybody give a warm welcoming applause to Lucia.
Hi, y'all.
What's going on? Happy to have you
Good to
on.
have you back.
Yeah, thanks for
I'm
joining us.
so excited. Oh my God, you guys have no idea.
I had to take the top of this episode for two things. I have a question for you right away, and I have a surprise for everyone here for this episode. So first, I'm going to start with the surprise. If
Okay.
anyone's been listening to the Patreon episodes or the most recent episodes, Patrick and Cody have been trying to push my family member into making something. It was finally made.
Your mom made us
The
a snow
Oh
globe?
my God!
Oh, that's
I heard
so
about
tight.
that.
Snow globe.
Shut
Yeah.
up, dude.
Inside, it's got two little real rum
Oh my God.
inside and a
It's got
shark.
what?
It's got two real whiskey bottles inside and a shark with a joint. In its
It's got a shark for Patrick? Oh my God, that's
What?
awesome. This is so cool.
And if you pay attention, there's little weed leaves inside with
Dude,
snowflakes.
Oh my God!
Your mom is awesome. Can she just come on
That's
for like 2
awesome.
seconds
How did that
so we can
happen?
thank her?
That's
Yeah,
fucking-
she said $10 and it's yours.
Hell yeah. Can we get her, Pat,
get
can we
paid
get her
for it.
$20 out of the sponsor money? Give her
Yeah.
$20.
She said y'all gotta pay her. The money can't come from me.
Yeah, no, for sure. Pat, can you
your Venmo, and we'll take care of that shit.
Pat
tonight.
Venmo $20.
$10?
Fuck $10.
That's it?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I
Give her
want one.
$20. Like we've got
make it
sponsor
happen
money
in
stacked up.
Production.
Bro,
Your
she
your
comes
mom
home,
started. Let's do the
She
production.
comes
now.
home from work. She runs into her craft room. She doesn't come out until she's made at least 100 different Frankenstein monsters. I don't know.
This is so awesome. You made it sound like it was never gonna happen. You were like,
I didn't think it was ever gonna happen, and she just like came down the stairs one day. I was like, "Hey, here's this."
your mom's awesome. That's so cool. All right, what was your question?
Did
You had
you-
a question for Lucia?
Yeah. So, Lucia, it's been a long time since you've been on the show.
Yes.
A lot has changed. But what I really need to know is, you're a juggalo now. You got the hatchet.
Yeah.
on?
I was gonna
Now-
say that.
Happening?
Now-
What is
Now-
happening?
Now, question mark. Yeah. All right. So I'm really happy you brought this up because I wore this chain intentionally. So Mitch Welling of Flat Sound and Ouija Mac, both located out of California. Ouija Mac is one of Psychopathic Records' artists. They're newer artists. He's like heavy trap. And then Mitch Welling and him teamed up, and they started a movement and made T-shirts that said "Trans Juggalettes are Juggalettes," and they stood up to one of the most like all the old like juggalos that were like one of the most like homophobic and oppressive like communities out there, and they stood strong behind that shit, and they raised over $3,000 for a local transgender organization in California where they live.
That's awesome.
So I got in contact with Mitch Welling from Flat Sound personally, and I said like, hey, what can I do to help? Like, how can I like support? Like what can I do to get one of these shirts? And I told him a little bit about my backstory and gave him like everything that I was going through, and he was like really receptive of it and like responded to me personally and said that he was going to send me one of the shirts for free, and he's just like really about like what I'm doing and like my whole transition and everything, you know what I mean? So like it gave me a sense of normalcy from people that are like way higher up in like media than I am, you know what I mean? And just made me
How
feel
cool.
like very included, you know?
For all the shit
So
that I
like,
give,
that's why that's
Wow.
why I'm wearing this right now, and I'm wearing it like very proudly. Like, and like
That's
all of my
awesome.
friends, like my longest running friends, a lot of them are listening right now when this episode airs. So just so you know, you have juggalos and juggalettes listening to this episode
Yeah, they're
right
about to
now.
fight you,
Yeah.
dude.
Because I know, like, I heard the Nick Lavin episode, I heard the Sean episode, and I heard you guys were like getting all like comedic with the juggalos. So I had to like come out and I had to represent, especially with the whole trans movement that they had going on. I was like, that guys, like that's
Wow,
amazing. So
I'm really
like,
glad
really,
you said something.
That's
That's awesome.
really fucking awesome.
I'm glad you said something about it because now I feel
two
like
scoops
good
for the
about it.
whoop whoop. You know,
Whoop,
they're all
whoop.
about family. You know what it
Luke,
is?
can I just say I just tuned into Luke's gaming channel. He's got a Twitch channel, TBS Pod Gaming. When I was on there, I was like, "Who's Luke on with right now?" Because he was doing a Mortal Kombat versus with somebody, and he was like, "Oh, that's David Fetty, one of the Juggalos." So Luke today was fucking with his Juggalo brother that he.
I was
doesn't-
gonna say, like,
man.
one episode, like, didn't you have like you were hanging out with some of your Juggalo friends or something?
Yeah,
Like,
man, they're some of my best friends. I do boxes of whippets with them all the time. They're great people.
that is what's up though.
It really is. It really is. Yeah. Like we had a little get together for one of our friends like birthdays, and the Juggalos showed up. And the Juggalo I was playing Mortal Kombat with today shows up with a case of whippets. He breaks it up like 15 for you, 15 for you, 15 for you. Now let's play
Wow.
some Magic the Gathering. And I'm like, let's do it. So he sparks
All
up
right.
his raw cone. We're fucking loading up whippets and playing Magic the Gathering. It's a good ass Juggalo time. I couldn't have asked for a better weekend.
It's like a miniature. Luke has a miniature gathering every
That's
week.
amazing.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, we have miniature gatherings basically like once or twice a year. Yeah.
I have to say, for all the shit that I give the Juggalos, and I'm fucking around.
They're
I mean,
amazing.
anything I
people.
say in this podcast, obviously, I'm going for somebody to laugh.
This sense of unity and camaraderie, like as like backwards as it may seem and as like off color as it might come off, like especially if you watch like the Gathering of the Juggalos documentaries, it's just like what the fuck am I watching
American
right now? But
Juggalo?
like for real though, yeah, no, that was a good one, and there was a sequel to it too.
Really?
But it's just like
I've never seen the
yeah,
sequel. Holy shit!
there was a sequel, and it's just like you can't fuck with that following of people. It's because they're so like loyal. Like a few of my longest running friends that I've known since I was like a preteen, like I'm still friends with to this fucking day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's why I'm like I have this on right now, and I'm just like whoop whoop.
I always
It's like it's family to a fault, you know. Like you saw people in those documentaries. Like I'm so about it. I'm gonna take caustic black spray paint to the dome to make it look like I have the same makeup as my favorite rapper. You know what I'm saying? Like it's loyalty to a fault.
Yep.
It's
and
awesome.
they were kind of off-putting for a while for me specifically because I don't know what you know about Coleraine, but like it would be like some weird mix of hillbilly, like northern hillbillies. Like hillbillies in fucking Coleraine is preposterous. Listeners there's people around the world that listen, which is bizarre to me. But if you don't know our area, like you at least know that they're in the United States. There's a north-south divide, and then people get twangier as you go south. There are people in Cincinnati that think that they're from fucking Alabama, the farthest south that you could possibly go. And that's how all the Juggalos at Coleraine came across. Like, how are you a hick and a Juggalo? Like, how is this going down? Like, you're kind of hood.
Because they have
but
their
you-
whole thing against rednecks. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's got his
But-
fucking John Deere boots on, but he's got like a Violet J jersey on
Yeah.
at the same time, and like a flat bill with the
Yeah.
Fago logo on it. Who knows,
And they
you
were
know?
the dumbest
He's
motherfuckers
everywhere,
that I
but
ever.
But he's himself.
The ones that I knew, though, they were the dumbest fucks that I had ever met. Like, I know that doesn't, like, encompass all the Juggalos, you know what I mean? Or the Juggalettes. But those fucks that I went to high school with were dumb as fuck. Like, not dumb in a fun way. Dumb in, like, you were hurting my brain to be around right now sort of way. So it just left this, like, terrible, like, taste in my mouth for them. But then you see them, like, doing a bunch of shit to, like you said, the trans inclusivity and the fucking
Yeah. No, they've been getting real progressive lately, especially the newer artists, and it's like it's all the old heads that are getting pissed about it. And you know what? For real, fuck them. Fuck those people.
Dude.
If that's how they feel about it, if you want to have the audacity to consider yourself a fucking juggalo or a juggalette, but you want to get fucking mad when somebody wants to identify as their true gender when you fucking identify as a killer clown, fuck you. If you really feel that way about it, no, for real, like fuck you. It's the old
Dude,
heads.
that's not family.
It's like fucked up gatekeeping.
That's not family.
That's
Yeah,
not
exactly.
family.
Exactly. It
That's
is
not
gatekeeping.
family.
Yeah, 100%. And they fucking they got labeled as a gang. Like they went to fucking
Not anymore.
Wasn't that in the 90s?
that was recently.
No, that was like an ongoing thing all the way up until like 2013 or something. Whenever the march happened, I might have that year wrong. Don't quote me on that.
Why did that happen?
Lucia isn't a juggalo historian, as it turns out. All right, so give her some forgiveness, folks. All right, don't shit on her.
You want to be like, I'm a juggalette now. It's like now, like no, I always have been. It's just something like I've just kind of like kept to myself up until like the movement started happening. And it goes like back into my like childhood and like friendships and shit like that. Like I've known juggalos before I knew punk rockers, like when I was a preteen and shit. So it's just that was my like introduction to alternative culture when I was like 11 and 12, listening to the original Joker's cards and shit.
Lucia, our dude that you live with right now, Sean Moore, shouts outs to Sean Moore, go and buy whatever various shit he's selling on Facebook Marketplace at any given time.
It's always good shit.
He's one of my closest friends in the world. But he was the first one when I first started hanging out with him. He's a punk rock kid with a fucking big red mohawk with like cheetah print on the side. He's showing me like fucking like Riddle Box and shit like that because his girlfriend at the time.
Riddle Box is that shit.
Yeah, and then he was like, "Did you know the Misfits were into the Juggalos?" And I was like, "What do you mean?" And then he shows me the fucking the weird B movies that they made or like D movies, whatever the fuck.
The
Jerry Only,
Big Money Hustle, Big Money Hustle,
Cowboy one.
Yeah. And they Jerry
one.
Only's in that, and fucking Doyle Wolfgang von Frankenstein's in that, and you're like, the Misfits are in the fucking Juggalo thing? Like, what the fuck? And then you see American Juggalo, and it's like, yeah, this shit might not be exactly for me, but there is something to it. I enjoy that there's... But Sean was the first one. He's a punk rock kid, so... Fucking, I think that all those communities go hand in hand, but people are so reluctant with the juggalos.
They do.
Because they're, I don't know, some of the juggalo shit is goofy. Like, it's a lot of, like, goofy people.
Yeah, like my introduction to it was goofy. My introduction to juggalo music was I went over to my homie Tyler's house in, like, 7th grade, and he's playing, like, the Three Little Pigs. Like, there's a song that the juggalos have about the
Piggy
Three Little
Pie.
Pigs or something. See that, and
hey,
I heard
she's
that,
a real
and,
juggalette.
like,
she knew the name right out the gate. Come on now.
So like just like that year or years before, I had discovered like Weird Al. Like Weird Al was new, and I had heard the Three Little Pigs song, and I'm like, oh, they're like that. They're fun. They're fun. And so, so like I graduate and I go to Coleraine, and like Cody said, like I saw some like iconic looking white trash juggalos at Coleraine.
Like they're about to start a meth lab behind the career center at Coleraine.
Yes.
Like the type dudes. And I think that's all the juggalos in my stupid 16-year-old brain. Sorry, Luke, keep going.
And then I meet juggalos who are telling me like, oh, when I went to the gathering, there was a line that was like 30 feet long, and at the front of the line, there was a guy holding a sign saying $5 fistings, and his girlfriend was bent over the fence, and they were just fisting her in a line. And I'm like, and these people are repping it like a gang and doing this shit, like they're fucked, But then like it took me years to like really have some perspective and be like, man, my best friends that I talk to literally every day are juggalos. Like, like they're not all maniacs. Like,
can I just say I love that Pat's
people.
sitting so quietly throughout all this, because I guarantee you there was not a single fucking juggalo or juggalette, and well, definitely not juggalette. He went to all boys school. Dude, did you have any juggalo friends ever or any juggalette friends ever, Pat? Like any?
I didn't. The only juggalo like kind of experience I ever had really was this white house over in Delhi. I don't know if you've heard about it at all, but they always went to Fogarty's and stuff. Maybe you would, but they have this house, and they had like couches and stuff all over the place, and there was always people fighting in their front yard. And then it was like a whole thing, and it looked like there was like so many different people there, and like. I've met a couple over like time.
Pat, wait, hold on, wait.
Haley said she's lived there.
That sounds about right.
Wait, how did you know they were a juggalo house? Did you just assume by their behavior? They're like, they must be juggalos.
There was flags in all the windows.
They were repping the colors, bro.
Yeah, it was crazy. Every window had like a different colored Hatchet Man flag or something. And then my old friend Aggie worked at the Doghouse bar right next to it. And I was there all the time, and it just was a nightly thing. And I was just like, oh, it's wild over there,
Oh, it was
But-
right there. I know exactly what house you're talking about. Then
Yeah.
they did always
But
have crazy
huge.
shit going on. That was a juggalo house. I didn't even know they got together like that, like in a whole fucking
it was like
rented
every
a
time
whole
I drove
house
by,
and shit
I
like
was
that.
gonna see some fun.
I
you
told this
know?
story in the Patreon, but growing up, we had a friend, Aaron Huddleston, that Sean hated his guts and couldn't stand him, so he called him Gay Ron Cuddleston because the dude was like homophobic, and he was like, so he called him that, and he was like, hell nah, bruh. But
Woof.
Aaron's all of 4'11" or whatever, so what's he gonna do? And Sean would just clown him. He would come over to my uncle's whenever because my uncle was a piece of shit and would let children drink at his fucking apartment. So we'd have parties there, and Aaron would be there, blackout drunk, hitting on girls like, yeah, I mean, I'm a juggalo, but like, I got family tattooed on my knuckles, right? He'd have one eye open, one eye half closed. Be like, yeah, but I forgot the most important letter of family, the L for love. And then you look at his knuckles, and it says F-A-M-I-Y, Fammy.
Wow.
I was like, no
Wow.
fucking way. And then I asked him, I was like, dude, outside of your pickup line, how the fuck did this happen? He was like, I got on
no.
triple C's and got too drunk.
That is the greatest cover story for a shitty
I know.
tattoo I
know.
heard.
He was
Oh
so
my
good at
God.
manipulating that shit. But
That's pretty bad.
those were the juggalos that I grew up with. So if like people on this podcast are like, I know juggalos, they're good. Even Luke does. Those are the ones that I hung out with. So maybe like that gives
It's
you a
like-
sense.
Juggalos have just been the most loyal people to me personally that I've ever known. Like, again,
Yeah.
like all the ones that I've known, we are still friends to this fucking day. Can I give a shout out real quick?
Oh yeah,
Give a
Whoop,
shout
whoop,
out.
all out,
Shout out to Ouija Max. Shout out to Matt Welling. Shout out to Tim. Shout out to Buzzy. Shout out to Matt down in Louisville. I appreciate you guys. I love you. You are all family. I know you're fucking listening right now. Whoop whoop, for real.
Lucia, I didn't
Yeah,
even
man.
know how hard you
Whoop,
went
whoop.
in the juggalette community. That's fucking insane to me. Like, I thought you were wearing the thing as a goof, and I thought that Luke stole my question. Like, I thought you were doing it like, oh, she's been listening, so she knows something about this, so maybe it's a goof. You're actually into this and have, like, quality information. You got, like,
I do.
juggalo family, juggalette family, and shit like that, and, like,
So much
information.
juggalo
It
lore.
goes-
We
Like,
gotta
hold
get
on a
Lucia
minute. This shit
in
went
for-
so much deeper than I thought it was going to go.
No, because like the last few episodes I've listened to, I've heard you guys like kind of making like some sort of like light of juggalos and juggalettes, and I was like, all right, like I gotta I gotta represent when I come back on.
Well,
so
I was
All right.
just gonna say, like, because we're planning to have the long-awaited My Juggalo Friends that I've been bringing up on this show since the beginning.
Great juggalo
We're-
friends.
The listeners and Patrick and Cody have been wanting it for so long. It's finally happening.
Okay.
I'm gonna do an early episode with Patreon, and then we're gonna actually do a real episode with
Please.
them. And I was like, man, we gotta get Lucia in on the Juggalo episode
okay,
too.
all right,
For
I'm
sure.
so down. I'm
That'd be
so
fun.
down.
Oh, my God.
Yeah,
I want to do
please,
this.
Awesome.
please.
I didn't know
Because
how
he was telling me like it's not gonna go this way. It's not, but he was telling me like, Luke, I don't know, man. Like, it might be a 25-parter episode. Like, I'm really gonna get into the lore. I'm really gonna go into the lore.
It
of the
goes
Juggalos,
so
man.
It
Like,
needs to be
he
documented.
was really going in. Like, the Dark Carnival is like our heaven. You know what I
The
mean?
Dark
Like, that's what we
Carnival
go after.
goes
That's
so
heaven.
deep.
What the fuck?
Wait, hold
Is
up.
that really
What
what it
the
is? It's like a
fuck?
heaven?
Yeah,
Yes.
we got Lucia on right now. She
No,
knows the shit.
It's like the
Tell
No.
Black Parade,
Is
right?
it, is it
No,
heaven? Is it
listen.
Valhalla?
The Dark Carnival is what happens on Earth. Shangri-La is what happens in like heaven. That is the Juggalo heaven is Shangri-La.
That's
Got it.
fucking
Yeah,
dope.
I definitely. We're gonna have to talk. I'm getting you on this Juggalo episode.
Also,
I will happily be a part of it.
you just joined the Facebook group and you're immediately putting out bangers all the time. Pat and Luke don't know this, but I screenshotted that conversation because Luke was like, Lucia just joined the group and has just been putting out solid bangers.
Yeah.
And then Pat said something nice. And I sent it to Lucia like, this is what people say about you behind your back type shit. Because
Cody said that shit to me. It made me so happy. Oh my god, you guys, I'm so for real. Thank you.
For real, join
Yeah,
the Bastard Sermon
it was
Facebook group
great
and
quality
she's
stuff. Like
You're just
you
really
know,
involved,
you-
and we
when-
love you for
when-
that.
I feel like I can speak for the other two when I say this. Like being like as an admin of the page, you see everything that's posted.
Mhm.
Like it's
Yeah.
on the forefront of your timeline.
80%
So, like, we're-
garbage. 80%
right.
straight
And
garbage, nonsense.
We're no strangers to it. We're no strangers, and it's hard to catch our eye. So like when something catches my eye or like gives me an actual like out loud chuckle and I got to share this with somebody, like I know it's quality, you know.
Right.
And I know people listening that might not be on Facebook don't get it, but like on this Facebook group, there's an actual community that's starting to build, and Lucia became a part of it immediately. Like she's up there with the top tier posters instantaneously. Like everybody listening, go to the Bastard Sermon Facebook group on Facebook and fucking
answer
check
the
out
questions.
all this shit. Yeah, we got all kinds of
Fucking read the questions.
yeah. We
I'm
have
done blocking you guys.
these
Yeah,
fucks.
let's do it.
These fucks report shit all the time and don't know what the podcast is and join it. But I don't know. I went on my little bitchy tirade when I was in COVID lockdown, all pissed
I
off.
don't understand why you're in the Bastard Sermon podcast group and you're ready to fucking pull the trigger on a report. I don't get it. I don't fucking get it.
It's a
Exactly.
Just leave
when you
leave
get
the
in
group.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Just leave the group.
How did you
Agreed.
Call
get
the fucking
here is my
Bastard
thing.
Sermon.
Well,
Yeah,
we
the
asked.
Bastard Sermon.
Yeah, 100%. But
Well,
those.
I feel like we need to go a step farther and fucking ban the person who invited
dox
him. You know
them.
what I'm saying? Like,
Bastards
why
are
are you
hungry for
friends
the
with fucking
doxing.
marks? We can't be letting people in who are friends with marks.
Do you see all the time whenever I say, hey, don't fucking report anything, just message us, and everyone's like, who is it? Who the fuck is it? Where's their fucking address? What's their serial number? They're
You
just
know
like
what?
ready to eat them alive. I'm like, I'm not doing it.
You know what? I bet it's them. I bet it's the cutthroats.
They're the fuckers
They're
that are
the ones
reporting.
reporting. Yep.
Speaking of the group, let's not make it all negative shit. I actually put up a post and Pat put up a post. So we got comments in both. Questions for Lucia, questions for the podcast. Do you guys want to get in this shit like right now?
Let's do it.
Yeah,
All right.
let's do it.
Which one? Pat, do you want to go to yours first or mine?
I don't care.
All right, hold on. Let me see what I can get up first. There it is. Pat's is first. All right, the first question. Alex Spence. With people shitting on Cyberpunk 2077 right now, should I still buy it? Pat
Yes.
and Luke.
Let's
take
Yes.
talk
the floor.
about Cyberpunk.
This
Yes.
is about to be 30 minutes before we get
I
to
am
the...
I am required to tell you that none of you know what you're talking about because none of you are playing it on PC.
I know. I know. You
Did
guys
Sean
got the
send you
sweet
down
end
with
of
that
the deal.
information? Lucia, you tell me right now if Sean's
Are
in
you
your ear right
PC
now
elitist?
with a gun. He's got his AR-15 right to Lucia's head right off
I
camera.
I respect my right to my celebrity's confidentiality.
Are you
PC
Are
is
you
ultimate
PC
for sure.
elitist?
No,
Are you
sorry.
are you like computer all the way, no consoles, PC elite?
it's a joke, dummy.
No. I was told to tell you guys you don't know what you're talking about because none of you played on PC.
You don't understand what's
God
happening
damn
here.
it.
I do because I understand the dynamic of the house Lucia's living in. I bet Sean is feet away right now. Sean, just jump on. What are you doing?
Goddamn Pat.
Totally.
Goddamn
Come
Sean.
over here. Sean's he's got the dopest fucking computer hookup in Cincinnati. So like he's actually
Yeah,
playing it the
it's
way
really
it's meant to be
impressive.
played. And
makes
everybody
me
else is
very
getting
jealous.
terrible console.
I didn't want to
versions of
name
it.
drop, but you already know.
He doesn't care. He's all right.
No, but you're right. PC. Honestly, he's right though. PC is the best way to probably play this game. Like all those people who
dude,
spent like
yeah.
$3,000 in their systems, so I'll feel vindicated now.
Hold up. First of all, anyone who spent more than the store price on those consoles by giving money to the scalpers deserve
Hilariously
the rip-off
stupid.
and deserve their consoles to burn or
I
smoke.
hope you
or
get a
anything.
brick.
I
I hate
second
'em when
this.
they're stupid. But I was never gonna even fucking argue that, dude. My game has crashed on me like 3 times on this like on my Xbox One is what I'm playing it on, and it's
Luke.
crashed like 3 times.
What are you playing it on? Oh, you already said. Sorry.
Xbox
Delay on my shit.
Yeah, the
Xbox
Xbox
One.
One. Yeah.
You go first, and I'll tell you what I feel after it.
Dude, I'm eating my words. You know, like the game is great. It really
Game's
is.
awesome.
It's got everything you like from any RPG just melded into it really well. It's really well balanced. The story is great so far. The characters are incredibly engaging.
Deep.
Very deep.
They
Yeah,
got so much to say.
The detail in the facial expressions when they give emotion is unlike anything I've seen before either. Like usually
Top
it's
notch.
like it's very robotic. Like they'll look like this and they're talking loud, and then they'll like get calm and quiet, and then their like computer face catches up. You know, it's really silly, but no, Cyberpunk
Yeah.
is great.
The
It's, it's a damn
detail
good
in the NPCs like looks really like the textures and everything are there, the shading and all that.
Yeah.
The color schemes honestly is what drew me into the game in the first place.
Yeah,
is the
it's
atmosphere,
beautiful.
the idea of it, like the
I
music.
have
the art.
not played it myself, but
Mhm.
I've watched Sean play it, so
Yeah.
that's
So
where I'm coming
it's pretty.
from.
It's a very pretty game, especially just to zone out in. But I mean, the whole world is just living and breathing. It is
Yeah.
unbelievably, ridiculously stupid glitchy. But honestly, I kind of like that. It's hilarious when something dumb happens. Like I shoot someone with a shotgun and they get stuck in a cabinet and they just shaking like crazy while you're doing a quiet cutscene. You just hear that.
Dude,
That's not the reason you're supposed to like the
hilarious.
game,
I had,
Patrick.
I know. I'm
one-
just saying.
I had one
it
glitch
entertains
where
me.
I tried to climb over a fence, and I was on my mission marker. And when I tried to climb over the fence, it shot me 365 meters backwards and inside of the building.
Dude, I had a glitch where I got my car for the first time. I was running all over the city, which is like 2.5 kilometers and shit, just out by foot. And by the time I get my car and I pull out, a fucking taxi cab comes out and completely demolishes it. I couldn't even like use it. Like instantly after I got the car, it was undrivable because of this glitch or something. And I had to wait like forever to get my car back. But
I called my car and it spawned inside of a taxi, and they both blew up.
This game seems so unbelievably glitchy. That's why I haven't even bought it
Yeah.
yet. I'm waiting
It is.
until
I don't blame
It
you.
is, but
You
it's
won't like
so
it.
much fun, dude.
I
Like,
hear that. I hear that. And I've
You
been
can get crazy like body augments, and the first thing I did was save $15,000 for the mantis blades. They're
Oh, those are the
swords
shit,
that come out of
apparently.
your arms.
Right.
Dude, I do nothing but run at fools and cut their fucking heads off. That's all I do.
It looked
Like
tight.
it, I got a mod, like bless you. Bless you again. I got a mod like really early in the game. I don't know how, but it makes my blades like heated. So like when I cut motherfuckers up,
Cauterizes it, no
sets
blood
them on
spray.
fire.
Oh
Yeah, it sets them on fire. So like I'm just running at them, they're on fire, cut their head off, cut their leg. Like it's brutal.
Yeah,
It's brutal.
it is.
It
The
hits
game-
hard,
I use
it
the katana
hits
a lot.
fast.
You
Yeah,
get a
the katana
and you fuck
rules.
people up.
I've got
Great.
something in my spine that slows down time when enemies see me.
Yeah, that's supposed to be wild. There's like these very interesting missions in it that I really like too. That it's very heavy dialogue based. Like a lot of these missions may not have action that you're thinking of. It's going to be a lot of talking.
That's
and a
what I
lot of-
want, though.
a lot of
I want a good
emotion.
story.
Like I was here. I'm going to spoil one side story if that's okay. Is that okay if I do
Yeah,
that? There's
a little
1,000
side
of them.
story. Who cares? Go.
But I was walking out of my apartment in the building, in the mega building, and there was these cops knocking on a door. Maybe Luke's already done this one, but there was a bunch of these cops knocking on the door. And I said, okay, what's going on? And they were saying like their cop buddy was having like some PTSD or some like grief
yeah,
over a lost colleague or whatever.
yeah. I do this
And
one.
they said, can you come back and like check on him? I know you live upstairs, but is it okay? So I was like, okay. So I come back like a couple of days later. I knock on his door and I talk shit about cars, and he lets me in and we talk about like his grieving process. And it was very real feeling, almost like you really sit there and like help a NPC grieve through a death. So you have to go and like talk to the cops again, but you have this optional mission to go and find out what he's talking about. So you go to these all the way across town to these standing cemeteries, and you find out he's talking about a turtle. A fucking turtle is putting him in this state, and it's like ridiculous sounding. And you go back, and they said that you talk to the cops, and then you wake up the next day and you find out the dude killed himself, and it's like
Yeah.
this whole crazy, deep thing. You're like, holy shit, man.
Well, that's what
I didn't know the turtle
God
part,
damn
and
it,
that
Luke.
kind of diminishes the entirety of the sad ending.
I know, but it's still like crazy though. I mean, it's just really deep, and if you really hunt for answers for these things, you can find it. It's just really deep story. I just think it's really fascinating.
Let me just say, every time that I do this system, people listening, you don't know because there's no video right now, but there's a whole fucking system where Lucia probably doesn't know about it, but the boys know about it. We put the finger up. That's the next person. I've had it up for a grip. My finger's falling asleep. All the blood's rushing out of my finger. And Luke couldn't wait to see my lips open to interrupt me, even though that's all he bitches about that we do to him constantly. Oh, you son of a bitch. Get over here with
You're
your
just a big
loud laugh,
baby
Luke.
about it, though, Cody.
Lean forward. Lean forward with that laugh, Luke. Oh, God, I don't even remember what I was going to say. Oh, you motherfucker.
Was it even worth saying anything at all then?
No, I literally have been saying this about Cyberpunk 2077 since the beginning. Like, it's gonna be a great game. The fucking story, the shit that you're talking about, like I love that because I love The Witcher, and I know that I'm minority in the room right now. I know Lucia didn't like it. I know Pat didn't like it. I know Luke didn't like it. I know that you guys all think that it's a decent game, but it was never any of your cups of tea. I know that from listening to all you talk about
Spyro?
it individually. Lucia, I don't know if your opinion's changed, but the last time I talked to you,
My opinion actually has changed because like
What game?
the Witcher 3.
Oh, okay.
The side quest and like especially when you deal with like the bog witches, that was like super fucking cool. I need to go back and play it again in order to make like a final assessment.
Fair
you know
enough.
what I mean? Because like
Yeah.
I think when I was playing it, I was expecting Skyrim, and that's not what The Witcher 3 is.
Sure.
Does
No,
that make
totally
sense?
different.
100%.
Totally it's similar, but totally different.
The reason that
Yeah.
I'm bringing that up, though, obviously, is because CD Projekt Red made The Witcher 3, and people had all these lofty expectations for the Cyberpunk 2077, and they could have all been met. But Luke talked about this also, how the money people got involved, the people that get Keanu Reeves involved, they have a deadline. They're waiting to make their money back on this fucking thing that they're dropping crazy money on. And Luke's been saying this from the beginning, like, it's going to come out, it's going to be buggy. Cyberpunk doesn't have that many games that they've made. They've only made Witcher 3,
And it's been
2
very
and 1. Like, all of them. I mean, Witcher 3 was kind of buggy. They ironed out the kinks
It was
pretty
super
quick.
buggy. That's
It
what I
was
was about
not
to say, is
super buggy
Witcher
if you played it on
yes,
PC.
It was.
On PC,
super,
it wasn't. No, it was
of
on
course,
other
and
things because it
Cyberpunk's
wasn't.
not glitchy on PC currently yet.
It wasn't ready
It's glitchy
for
on
a PS4 and
current
Xbox
console.
One, the same way this isn't. But the Witcher 3 didn't
Glitchy.
have a hype machine behind it. It was kind of like something people that were in the know were like, this is going to be fucking dope. And yeah, there was a couple of issues that got ironed out, but it's nothing
They
like
had 8 years
this.
of hype.
Right.
That's why it was such a. That's why
Well,
it's
I'm
such a
saying like the
failure.
difference between the bugs. Yes, there were bugs in The Witcher 3, even on PC, but they paled in comparison to what I've been seeing on Cyberpunk. I haven't had a
It just gets
personal
fixed over
experience with it
time.
myself because
Yeah. You
I'm not
should
going to
wait,
play it on my
Cody.
PC. My PC will be like it'll play it pretty good at 1080, but I got a nice TV. I want to get a
You won't like
PS5. I want to get the haptic feedback on my PS5 controller. I don't have that yet. I want to have that experience with it. Sean had been talking to me about it. Like, get it on PC. Like, Amanda can play it in 1080. Everything's good, but I'm having hella bugs, and my computer sounds like a fucking jet engine taking off. And we'd been talking about this for weeks and weeks and months. Like, if you listen to the podcast consistently, we've trickled in the Cyberpunk hype. Luke said that, and I've been saying, like, if they're delaying it, there's a reason, and it's because it's not ready. And if they're delaying it to December, I guarantee they need until March for it to be ready. But the money people behind it, like Luke said, are forcing them to put it out. So now they have to deal with the fucking bugs in real time. Everybody's been giving them shit. And because of how much that I love The Witcher 3, putting in 400 hours, I have nothing but, like, respect for CD Projekt Red, and I don't know what's going on behind the scenes. So I'm going to cut them the most slack possible, but I'm also
Totally.
not going to buy their game until it's ready. Until I hear, like, the Reddit community being like, this game's phenomenal, like what happened to No Man's Sky type shit. Like, it's great now. And I everybody that says it shouldn't have been released, you're right, but you also don't know the politics behind the scenes. Pat,
Yeah, knowing you, Cody, you will not like this game until it's done.
No.
You won't have a good time with it until it's
I know.
completed.
That's why I'm waiting. That's why
Give
I'm
it
not
some
even going
time,
to touch it.
and you'll be good. Yeah, because on PS4, and that's what you have, it runs like complete, utter shit.
It's not
It's
fair.
awful.
Like, as an artist, you could understand this. Like, can you imagine, like, you have, like, an artistic vision for something, and you know you can make it great, and the only way you can make it great is if you get a bunch of money from a bunch of other people, and then you get all that money, and then they tell you, hey, there's a deadline, and you get to that deadline, you're like, I want my artistic vision to be phenomenal, and they're like, I don't give a fuck, I want my money back on the money that I gave you, and you can't say shit unless you want to burn a bridge in this thing that's going to keep going, because Cyberpunk isn't the end of this for those people. They have to make another game after this and make money again in 8 years. It's not like and if they blackball like all these people or fuck them over, they're not going to be able to get their return on that money, and nobody sees that in the gaming community. They just see a broken game and they get pissed off at CD Projekt Red.
The gaming
just
community can
like
be
as an
super
artist,
elitist.
I can just understand what they're probably going through right now. I know they didn't want to release it like it is. I know they didn't. Like, as an artist, as like watching these people that are obviously artists to me, because they put out this like super high quality content and these stories that actually matter, like what Pat's talking about. All that's there. there's a bunch of bugs. They shouldn't have released it right now, but you have no idea what's going on with the money, man. All
They
right,
needed a
I'll get
couple
off
more
my
months.
soapbox, stepping down. Go ahead, fellas.
Needed a
Sorry.
couple more months. I'll say that's for sure. But it is a really, really good game. Personally, I've been
Yeah.
seeing all these reviews. IGN, who fuck IGN by the way, but they were saying it was like a 4 out of 10. I was like, that's like almost a slap in the face. This game's legitimately good. It's
They
just
have to
buggy.
rate it for
buggy.
what it is right now, though. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't like IGN, but I kind of agree with them to say that because they can't influence people to buy shit right now that's broken. And who knows if they're going to fix it. I hope they're going to fix it. I have faith that they're
They
going
will.
to fix it,
They've
but I don't know.
really going into it.
Luke?
It's buggy. But it's really good. It's worth the money. I don't want to keep talking about it because I haven't beaten it.
Can I
I'd like to
ask
get
you
back
guys
to it.
something?
Yes.
If
Yes.
you all right, so if it took 7 years to make this game, why do you think it's so buggy coming out the gate, and why do you think places like IGN are giving it 4 out of 10 reviews?
Improper expectations is why it's been like that. And it's also, as much as the shareholders' fault it is, it's the fans' fault too. Because this is like one of those games where like they have such big shoes to fill. And 8 years is how long the game has been in development.
8 years.
8 years. They announced it in 2012 or 13
Which isn't
or some
crazy,
shit.
though. Which is not crazy, but
But they
fans
had,
talk
like-
about it like it is because they've known about it since the jump. Keep going,
Right. They've
sorry.
had like 4 to 5 different release dates that they had planned, and like they created their own monster in a way where like they kept delaying it so much where at the point they were losing stock because people were getting over the hype and getting so frustrated and canceling pre-orders and all this shit. But by the time the stockholders were like, all right, let's just release it and we'll release patches. It's not the devs' fault. It's what Luke said. It's the it's the stockholders and it's the fans' fault that it's getting a shitty review. It was released too early and people are being way too hard on it. They were demanding this thing to be out, and now that it's out, it didn't meet their godly expectations or whatever.
CD
So
Projekt
do you think
Red.
do you think hypothetically if they had waited like another year, it would have fixed the problems
Yeah.
with
Oh,
the
yeah.
game?
Oh, yeah.
I think even a simple couple of months would help it. It's just got like rendering issues. I feel like.
And they
I think
also...
a year. I think a year.
I
would
keep,
have
I
been
keep
perfect.
seeing all of the memes that have been coming out like based on Cyberpunk, and it's like rendering issues like you were saying. Like it's just like it's just not holding up to like the performance level of what your system could put out.
Yeah.
Also,
I would say it's going to come out like, I'm sorry, Cody, real quick. Within a year, if you do wait a year on this game, you'll miss all these issues that you're having. They're
Also-
going to probably
Yeah.
knock out all the patchwork by the time at the end of the year. It will be a good game that lasts for years and years and years, but it just still needs that extra time.
CD Projekt
Yeah.
Red is also like I'm sure they've upgraded their facilities since The Witcher 3, but they were a relatively
yeah.
small company, and I can't imagine they're that much bigger now. I know that they've upgraded and they won Game of the Year 2015. They've been working on this game. They've been making money on the hype machine enough to get Keanu Reeves, but who knows if most of that money went into their game and not like upgrading how much of a personal staff that they have. So who knows how much that goes into play with this whole thing.
That was
They have 1,111
essentially,
employees.
That was essentially my argument during me and Pat's solo episode when I was going on my rant about CD Projekt Red.
I listened
Like, if
to
you
it. That's
look
where
at
I'm
their
getting.
catalog. Yeah, if you look at their catalog, people, like it's not that big, and it's not filled with exciting games. It's like the ones you would recognize would be Witcher 2, with not even the first one, Witcher 2, Witcher 3, and then Cyberpunk 2077. And there's like
And
this
Gwent.
insane, like crazy army of Witcher 3 diehards that will tell you until they're dead that it is the greatest RPG ever made.
Yeah.
And they will never even bring up Witcher 2. They'll never bring up Witcher 2 in the argument. You'll never hear it.
You're right.
But
No, The
I-
Witcher 2
I
has
know,
a lot
Totally,
of
100%. I
praise.
see it all the time
You're
on the
wrong.
internet, on
I
Reddit.
know
That's
I'm
exactly
right.
how
I
they
know
talk.
I'm right. But
No, you're not. The Witcher 2
Yes,
has
he
a bunch
is.
of praise.
20
People love The Witcher 2. What do you mean?
No, he's completely right.
Sure, but no one brings up Witcher
No one talks
2
about
in an
it.
argument
Not after
about
Witcher 3.
being a
It's
good
like,
game.
why would you talk about Oblivion after Skyrim comes out? It doesn't mean Oblivion
That's
doesn't
what
make
we're
any
saying.
fucking sense.
Everyone talks about Oblivion
Everyone?
with Skyrim. What do you mean?
Yeah,
yes.
Or just
and
the
if
people in
they're
your
not,
little
then
community.
They're not real Elder Scroll fans because Oblivion is incredible. It's an
Oblivion
entirely
is
different
incredible.
game.
That's
I
how
got
Witcher
Oblivion
fans.
memes.
If you go in the
Text to
Witcher
me today.
If you go in the Witcher community, it's the same shit, though. If you're a true
No,
Witcher fan,
no,
you know about the
listen,
first and the second, especially the second, because the second's where it jumped into the next gen. You're wrong about this, because
I am
I'm a
not
part of
wrong,
that
bud.
fucking community that's listening to
No,
that.
you're not.
You're the minority.
You're dreaming about being a part of that community and then waking up like, I'm definitely a part of that community.
Yeah.
I'm in that community.
Whatever, nerds.
How'd you get in that community, huh? Read the forum.
Yeah, read the forum.
Dude,
That's how.
No diehard Witcher 3 when talking about why Witcher 3 is the better RPG over any other RPG brings up why how good Witcher 2 is as well. And they'll also and because they'll back up Skyrim, they'll bring up Oblivion, but you'll never see Witcher 3 be backed up with Witcher 2.
Look, you're both right that everyone agrees that Witcher 2 is good that's played it.
I'll
but
offer.
No one fucking talks about it,
He's
period.
never played it.
I'll offer this. Who actually gives a fuck
it's
about
so
this
good.
conversation?
Oh,
He's never played it.
This
because I've
conversation
never played
sucks.
Witcher 2.
I just heard it was good on some forums. I'm part of the community, so I gotta back it up.
All right, I'll concede to be wrong if we could just move to the next question. I'm wrong. You guys are
Yes.
right. Fuck this
Play
whole
Cyberpunk.
video game conversation because it's going nowhere now. And I just realized we've got a whole other set of like 2 different posts worth of questions to get to,
Oh, yeah.
plus shit that I'm sure
Let's
Lucia
do
wants
it.
to get to. Next one, we've got Garrett Zimmerman. I assume Pat knows him. Talk
I
about
worked with him.
how long you think it will be until the emo reaches another generation of high schoolers and becomes mainstream again. It's actually
right.
not
Somebody
a bad,
said
Never
2040.
It would be
2040.
right
You think?
now. It's right now.
Isn't that what one of the comments were? Was 2040 or something like that?
Hold on, let me share the screen so that Luke can read this from now on, not me with my stumbling
Okay.
ass.
I saw questions.
Yes.
All right. Talk about. You gotta get that select
that.
out the way. You gotta talk about how long you think it will be until emo reaches another generation of high schoolers and becomes mainstream again.
2040,
Alex
yeah.
said 2040.
I
Someone
think it's
said
happening right now.
2040.
Dude,
I think it's right now.
I think it's hitting right now. It's being romanticized
That's-
again. You know why? Because my Chem is coming back. MGK, who is in the spotlight, put out a punk rock album. It's being romanticized.
More than
again,
that.
dog. It's
More
coming
than
back
that,
right
man.
now.
There's a bunch of rappers out there that do like kind of emo kind of music, and that's
That's
like a new
also
age kind of
very
emo,
true.
which brings it over to this other stuff. And the all
MGK is not emo. MGK
No,
is just
he's
pop
not.
punk.
He tries to
I
be.
hate
Pop
when that-
punk.
You're
It's
right.
like no, and it's not even
You're
like I'm not even like hating on MGK. It's just like I know what he's doing. I see what he's doing. I saw
Yeah.
his performances at the VMA, and I'm like, dude, like good for you, but that's pop punk.
Okay.
Yeah. He's like trying to play Blink 182 or some shit.
Yes, exactly.
Well, he's
Yeah.
got 1/3 of it.
No, I saw those performances too, and he does not know how to play guitar, dude. It
Is
was
it
not
like Lil
good.
Wayne? Is
Oh,
it
dude,
comparable
yeah.
to Lil Wayne
Yeah,
playing
it's
guitar?
like it's almost that bad.
It's
I
like
thought.
you'll hear him, you'll watch him play live to one
It's
of his
bad.
songs, and the guitar riff for like the chorus is really slow, but you'll see him just like
yeah.
Yeah, and he also doesn't have a singing voice.
Don't you love how
he
Luke's
just has
doing?
a rapping voice.
Don't you love how
Like,
Luke
he's
does
just
such a physical
thrashing.
thing that nobody else is ever gonna see ever, except for us?
Yeah.
And then nobody
Air
describes
guitar.
it. He gets all the way up, stands on his little
I'm
rolly
4
chair.
bowls deep, man. Give me a break.
We got a whole Patreon to do after this. Stop smoking. What are you doing?
I'm gonna continue smoking.
I'm gonna try to kill myself trying to like
Wait,
wake
you
Luke
can't
up.
you can't get too far ahead without me because I got mine on reserve for the Patreon episode.
Yeah, there you go.
That's what I'm talking about.
I'm
Luke-
drinking bourbon cider right now, so hopefully I'm not drunk.
There you
by
go.
that time.
Oh,
Yeah.
I got Jägermeister and Red Bull, but I just
My
ran
work-
out of-
My work gave me like these $50 gift cards as like a Christmas kind of like, hey, thanks for working during COVID, blah blah blah. It's better than pizza, but Hey,
yeah, there we go.
I just went to the liquor store and bought a $50 bottle of bourbon, and it's gigantic. It will last me for 2 months.
What kind of bourbon did you get? I'm getting
Bullet
excited.
bourbon.
Oh,
I like
Bullet.
bullet bourbon.
Bullet's fantastic. Me and Lucia
Cody,
used to after shift.
Yeah.
After shifts, Lucia, by the way, got me into all the shit that I talk about, cooking and stuff like that. Lucia was my entrance to the culinary world. And, I mean, I've only worked 2 culinary jobs for the last 4 years.
Your food posts are awesome, by the way.
The ones that
Me?
she makes?
Yes.
Yeah, I saw
Yeah.
some
Thank
food that she
you.
posted, and it was like,
Thank you.
damn, that looks
So
good as fuck.
I've like calmed down a lot, like since like I was off social media for about a year, and I came back, and like now I'm like, if you guys follow me on social media, like you'll know like where I'm at and what I'm doing, and like I'm down to promote like the restaurants that I've worked for and the ones that I've formerly worked for, but like I've just kind of like gone quiet with like my own like personal like posts and things like that. But
Makes sense, totally. But what I was going to say with the bullet bourbon thing, after we would finish shifts at the first place that you got me in at, we were working there with that fuckhead Johnny. You remember Johnny?
oh my
Johnny,
God.
you know?
I talk about Johnny on this podcast all the time. The former method. Hey, bruh. Hey,
Yeah.
what's going
no,
on,
I
man?
remember.
He
yeah.
play hip
How could I forget Johnny?
We'd go down to the Covington Strip. What's that called? Where the fuck is the it's right next to one of our sponsor shop. Do you know Nil?
Maestros, yeah. Yeah, you guys got fucking sponsored by Dark Aesthetics.
Hail
or
Dark
whatever it's
Aesthetic,
called.
yeah.
We
Hail
love
Dark
Neil.
Aesthetics, yeah. Oh my
Love
God,
Neil.
that's like, dude, that's so amazing. I've been there so many times. I love that place.
Give him a
Neil's the coolest
awesome.
dude.
Neil's great.
Just go in there and tell Neil, like, hey, I listen. Like,
Yeah.
He'll talk to you. He'll talk to you forever, dude, about anything.
That
Oh,
is,
and
and like,
And
I'm not the
discount.
only person I know that loves that store. So like the fact that you guys got sponsored by them, that is fucking awesome. I'm so proud of you guys.
I hope you're
Neil's
using
great.
the discount.
We love Neil. Yeah. Well, we do this at the end, but give him the code. What's the code, Luke?
Say hail bastard.
Go to Hail
at
Dark
your
Aesthetics
checkout.
and say Hail Bastards. I don't know your
Hail
listening.
bastard.
Get that discount.
What do you get? 10%?
10%.
10% off your
10%.
purchase if you go into Hail Dark Aesthetic and
They got
say
such
hail
cool shit
bastards.
there, man.
But
Neil
what I
is
was
such a handsome individual.
he's the best. And he's also fucking phenomenal with his Nick Cage trivia. I can never fathom
that's a
knowing that
fact.
much about Nicolas Cage, but his shop's amazing. He's awesome.
I
mean,
wish I had his Nick Cage knowledge.
well, we used to go to the bar next door, a little hole in the wall. I forget the name of it. Left Hand something. I forget the name of it, but we'd go in there with Johnny and do bullet bourbon. Like, that was the after shift.
It's good.
Can I say if not, I'll bleep this out. But anyways, we would all go over to fucking that place right by Hail Dark Aesthetic and take shots of bullet bourbon as like the shift's over, and then one shot turns into like 9 shots, and then before you know it, Johnny's so drunk that he can't sit straight, and he's talking like crazy meth head stories to me all the time. So bullet bourbon has a special methy place in my heart about Johnny sitting there telling me about how he'd rip off the check cashing place that he used to work at for that.
Damn.
So yeah, all that just to get to a bullet bourbon story.
It's good as bro. Well, it's
Jesus.
just good ass alcohol, good ass stories attached to them, right? We're not sponsored by Bullet Bourbon, but maybe in the future.
I would go for a Woodford if we're gonna get a whiskey sponsor. Woodford's the one, right? Woodford is my
I don't
go-to.
know.
Cody, you'll fucking drink
can I get a
whatever's
free
in front
case?
of
Right.
You'll drink oil if it fucks
you.
you.
You better
up.
fucking relax. I'd rather have. Shut up. You better give me.
He's like got his
here,
pinky
you
out as
fucking
he's like,
looking
"Ooh,
ass."
I'd love to have a special diluted, pan-seared alcohol.
Here's my preferred Milwaukee's Beast Ice with my pinky out. 99 cents at your local hood-ass gas station.
Quality beer right there. Quality.
Tastes like transmission fluid.
That's funny.
Is transmission fluid.
Dude, no joke. Some of that beer that sometimes Cody would bring over beer, and I'd try it, and I'd be like, "This tastes like." It tastes like straight up oil. What I imagine oil tastes like. Have you ever had Novocaine?
Oh,
Like at
he's
the
talking
dentist?
about.
Well, wait. Is he like feeding you his malts?
I'll ask. He'll like pressure me into drinking one. Like, come on, don't drink that bitchy ass shit. Don't just drink this. And then I'll take a sip, and I'm like, yeah, I'll try drinking it, and I'll just have that one sip and waste the whole beer. you
Dude,
know?
I know for a fact he's talking about malts.
Malts,
I know for
yeah.
a fact he's
Like,
talking
he's
about
not.
your malt. Your
It
dark
tastes
malt
like
beers.
Novocaine.
You're both wrong. No, it's
It tastes like Novocaine.
stouts. Stouts is what I used
It
to
was
bring
terrible.
over.
That's it. Yeah.
Look,
Yeah,
I don't-
stouts and imperial stouts. I'd bring over Lucia. Have you ever had a Rasputin? Like, you familiar with the
Yeah,
fucking?
your stouts are hard.
That
I
one-
don't drink stouts.
It's named
It's
after
terrible.
a guy that they had to fucking
Thank you,
poison and
Lucia.
stab and drown, and still was alive and crazy as fuck.
Someone scooped up an
Appropriately
oil
named.
slick on a parking lot.
Yeah, stouts are like a meal in a bottle.
Yeah, until you drink like 6 of them, then they're a DUI in 6 bottles.
Dude, when I worked at Rivertown, like when I opened, we would have people there, like as soon as doors are unlocked, to fill up their fucking I'm totally blanking on the name, but they would fill up their fat ass thing full of alcohol. They would come and get our breakfast stout, and they would be like, "Yeah, this is what I'm drinking for the day." Like
Yeah.
breakfast
It's
stout.
terrible.
Breakfast stout for the morning. I remember Mansfield making a
Terrible.
post about that, where he was just like,
that sounds miserable to me.
Sounds very hipster.
it sounds awesome to me. I mean, you get a big greasy breakfast and you wash it down with a nice breakfast stout. Come on, it's in the name. It says breakfast. I remember Mansfield making a post where he was like, I crack a beer open, get back into bed, and then my wife asked me, like, are you drinking beer at 8 a.m.? And he holds up the beer and points. Yeah, it says breakfast stout. Come on, it's 8 a.m. I was like, hey, I'm with you on that. That's the perfect time to drink a breakfast stout. It's right on the label. You don't feel like such an alcoholic.
It's not false advertisement.
I
Yeah.
just never have like really enjoyed alcohol with my food before. I've wanted to try
It's
red
good.
wine with like meat, but I've just
good.
never been a fan of alcohol with my food.
Me either, Luke.
good.
That's why I don't eat all day, and then I just drink a bunch of Jägermeister and fucking Milwaukee's Beast Ice. Then I get on a podcast where I have to talk for 3.5 hours, and I hope that I'm going to be good the next 2 hours. I got 2 more hours of talking to go, and I'm looking over at how much I've drank, and I'm like, oh no, I've made mistakes. I've made a sizable amount of errors right now in my night.
You need to keep making them then, bro. You've already crossed the line.
All right, fair enough. Fair
What's
enough.
the next question?
Hold on, let
Yeah,
me.
let's get to it. Pull it up. Let me read.
I'm gonna give it to Luke. Hold on a second.
Yeah,
this shit
hurry
doesn't
up,
happen
Cody.
instantaneously. God damn it, Nick Glavin. We love him.
Nick Glavin is next. If your significant other dramatically and randomly became special needs, mentally ill, or challenged, would you stick around?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I'm engaged,
Yes,
dude.
Yes,
like,
absolutely.
I made the decision when I proposed. So
Being a
guess.
person, being a person that's coming from where I'm coming from, and like transitioning from like genders and whatever, it's like I would hope that if I was with somebody that would stick around, like I hope that if I was with somebody, they would stick around
Right.
through that, you know.
dude, love's
So, like-
tough, especially as we get older now.
I
it just
guess I
gets
would.
smaller.
I
Dude, I
guess
don't-
I'll stay with Allie.
He's
if
literally
she's-
just saying that because he has to record it or fix it later, edit it, right? For the Allie. I'm
Just to
kidding.
piss her off
We love
later.
you, Allie.
Set him up for trouble anyway. It's like nothing's brought up, and he's like, he's doing that because Allie's listening.
I don't want that to be taken out of context either. I just like I just mean like if I went through like a major change in my life and I was already with somebody, I would only hope that they would stay with me. But if they
Yeah.
didn't, like I would also understand too. You know?
When you get in a relationship, I mean, you're looking for someone to depend on, like especially
Yeah.
if you're in you're trying to get married or something. That's who you're depending on for the rest of,
But that's where
Whatever,
I'm
life.
torn because it's like, how long? You know what I mean? Like, am I 2 months into this? Like, because if I was 2 months
There's
into a
variables.
relationship
No, you're
and I
right.
were
You're
fucking,
right.
Like lifelong vegetable, I'd be like, why aren't you leaving? Why are you spending your life? You're miserable. You've only known me 2 months. Like,
here, you make a
go.
will, make a
You know,
fucking
like,
will.
do
You're right.
something.
There's
Go meet a
mitigating
lawyer,
factors.
Luke, and get a will,
So
all
in
right,
my
and say,
head,
move
like,
on.
That's like I'm thinking like if it's 2 months, I don't know if I can do that.
I love how
Like,
sweet Lucia's
I'm
answer
You're,
20
is.
you're right. You're totally right. There's
Like-
variables.
Like I turned 27 in 3 days. Like I got a young life. I've got time to find another forever person probably.
Happy
maybe.
early birthday.
Thank you. I appreciate it. But I don't know. I don't know. It depends if I'm engaged. Well, like Patrick, sure, for sure. But
Wait, Pat, you're
comatose and we're-
engaged?
Yeah.
It is.
What?
But 2 months.
Did you
in
guys
comatose-
know? Just kidding. Hey, thanks. Yeah, we
Two-thirds
just-
of the
Shouts out
Bachelor.
Patrick's married.
We
We're
just
getting
got
there.
our date booked, so it'll be like November.
Wow!
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
And they
Appreciate
finally
it.
got the vaccine, so you can actually do
Nice,
it.
dude.
I
Well,
appreciate.
it's like it's an elopement. It's not like it's gonna. We're not trying to have like a huge ass
I-
wedding, you know. Like
I hear.
I don't
if you
want
get
that. Dude, that's hold on real quick. There's a lot of pressure when it
Hold on,
comes
Pat.
to
Isn't eloping when you cheat on your wife that you're engaged to?
No.
I think
you
that Pat doesn't
stupid?
know what an elopement is.
You sure? About
What's an
that?
elopement?
No, that's not what eloping is.
You're fucking
What is eloping?
stupid, Cody. No,
Cody,
it's just,
Cody's the one
Oh.
who doesn't know what eloping is. Oh, this is great.
Eloping
this
is
is
eloping is fucking.
Oh, really? Like before you? Wait, eloping
It's-
is
it's-
fucking. So you
yeah,
guys are just
it's
gonna
when
fuck?
it's
That's
when,
what you're doing
uh,
instead of a wedding. You're just gonna fuck. You
Yeah,
can do
we're
that
just
anyways, Pat.
in front of people. It's a whole thing.
Like at the park. Like if you picked out like your
It's
public
gonna be at a-
destinations that you're gonna fuck.
Kinda, actually, yeah, it will be. It would be a huge fuck orgy ceremony, and it is off the edge of a cliff.
You just
So-
like you sign the documents and you mail it in and you're married like just fast. You don't go through the ordeal and then you sign after the whole ceremony and then you mail it
Kinda.
in. Like
You can do it that way, but the way we're doing it is like we're gonna have someone marry us, of course, but there would be like maybe our
Oh.
parents there, and it was just like someone like that. It's not like a whole like huge wedding situation where there's
Yeah.
gonna be 5. There could be, but that's too much money. It's so ridiculous to do that. I don't
Yeah.
want that kind of pressure on such a private moment in my life. You know, I'm already kind of like a hermit about this stuff as is. So
my homie's doing
I don't
the
want people
same
staring
thing.
at me.
My dude's doing the same thing. My best friend that I grew up with, him and his girl, they've known each other since they were 15. He's the same age as me. No, he's a year older, and he's eloping next year for their wedding. They're just getting it done at the state house. Then they're gonna go on their 2-week honeymoon to Hawaii, and then they're gonna come back and have a small ceremony for the friends and family.
Yeah,
I was
that's-
I was
will
totally
be
wrong.
Marrying them.
I
I'll
was
be marrying them.
what? What do you mean?
nice.
Lucia, did you
I'll
look
be
up eloping also? I've been waiting.
I did. Yeah, I was totally wrong. It means run away secretly in order to get married, especially without parental consent.
Yeah, that's
You're
what.
fucking lying.
No, that's what I was saying. I was pretty much right, you fucks.
That's
oh my
two
God.
different things.
God damn it.
Bullshit.
That's
okay,
when you go.
well, we're getting married. Take that word out.
I thought eloping meant like consummating or like somewhere on the same like whatever, but it doesn't matter.
That's all right.
I thought it was just
I'm
getting
usually
married
wrong,
without
but
I feel
confident.
like, how do I know you're not making this up? Because I feel like I've only
It's
heard
on
that-
Google. I looked it up to you, fuck. You don't have to be like, I feel like Lucia's making it up.
Fake
I know.
news,
I was
Cody, from
waiting to
you.
say that, and then Lucia said it, and I was like, yeah, thank you. But
Whatever.
Fake
We're getting married.
news.
November 1st.
Patrick, I
I'm
admit
very-
I
I'm
was
so-
wrong. Just admit
I
you're
am
wrong.
so happy for you guys. Like seriously.
Oh, thanks. Appreciate it. Yeah, it's a wild ride. It's awesome.
Luke's also marrying his dog. Can we get a round of applause for that?
Come here, Dan.
Oh my god.
You gonna
Come
make
on,
out with
Dan.
your dog?
Can you make out with your dog for the podcast?
I've heard so many Luke fucking his dog jokes throughout the podcast.
Luke hates
Look
it
at
every
this.
single time. He's never like he's heard it so much at this point. He's like, it's a dad joke. Nobody likes this, and I'm like, I like it. So until I stop liking it, I guess we're gonna keep making fun of you, Luke.
Yeah, I don't like the slut shame, but you know that dog's a slut for Luke.
For Luke's
You
freckled
know.
penis.
Don't put peanut butter anywhere now around that guy.
I've had it since he was 6 weeks.
Okay,
Oh,
so
you're
you're a
grooming
dog
him?
pedophile? Well, okay.
Grooming, yes.
Way better than mine.
kidding.
Come on, grooming him with a dog? Perfect setup. All right, let's go back to the next one. If I can share this quick enough. What the fuck is going on with my computer? There
You're
we
only
are.
good at Zoom, you noob.
I suck at it. Luke,
All right, who's next? Worst holiday experiences or funniest? Oh, I've got one.
Yes,
I've got one. 4th of July. Clint can verify this. My dad is a wild individual, right? I've made this clear on the show. So one year he imported some very illegal fireworks. My dad loves the 4th of July. He loves fireworks, and so these fireworks were mortars. And if people know anything about fireworks, those are the big ones. Those are the big cannonballs that go up in the sky and make the big, big, big explosions.
They blow up
the ones
underwater,
that deafen
too.
you. They are crazy. And
Bombs.
so what my dad did to fire these things off into the sky was he made the most ghetto rigged fucking cannon ever. He had one of those orange Quickcrete cement buckets. He had 3 steel pipes, and he stuck them into the center, and then he filled it up with concrete. And so that was his cannon, and he used it for years. And one 4th of July, it finally, after the last mortar, it cracked. The cement cracked, and the bucket broke. But it was still holding together. It wasn't entirely broken, but there was shards missing. It was split. So he held on to it. And so the next year, my dad is like, I'm definitely using this cannon still. Like, no questions asked. And he has this mortar, and he fires off the first one, and it goes about, I don't know, 20 feet into the air. That's it. And it explodes and rains fire down on all of us. And we get pretty frustrated with him, obviously, but my mom starts to scream, freak out, Steven, why are you doing this? So he takes one of the steel pipes that broke out of the concrete. He like digs out a hole in the ground, puts the steel pipe in there, and he fires off another one. Except it doesn't go anywhere. It like
blows up there in the tube.
It comes out of the hole in the ground, out of the pipe, lands on the ground, and explodes. But like before it explodes, me and my cousin Clint like shove our sisters into the corner of the AC unit in the house wall, and we like open up our coats like superhero style. And cover them up. Our jackets were singed. Everyone who was eating barbecue at ground floor level was just like singed. They had fire just shot in their faces. It was a brutal argument after that. Yeah. And like 8 years later, he tries to do it again, and he burns a puppy and gets into an argument with a lady.
Yikes!
Yeah.
What? Hold on a second, Pat. I know you had your finger up, but he's glossing over some very important story information. He burned a puppy? What do you mean?
Yeah.
What are you
threw
talking
some fireworks
about?
in a bucket,
Hold
and he
on
tossed
just
the
a
puppy in
second.
right after.
So there was a 4th of July when we lived in Coleraine, okay? And those stories I told you before, we weren't living in Coleraine. We still lived in Price Hill. And so he decided to yeah, basically he decided to make another bucket cannon, and this one did not work at all. It broke immediately, and the cannon shot just about roof height, and it blew right over across the street. Like, so we were in the backyard, it blew over our house, our front yard, all the way to the other side of the street, to those houses' front yards. And there was 2 old ladies walking their small dog, and one of the cardboard funnels from one of the secondary explosions like flew down and hit her puppy.
No,
and she lost her mind.
Dang. Yeah, that's fucked up, man. Yikes. Hopefully that dog didn't get seriously injured.
No, she seemed fine.
Pat sounds so genuinely concerned.
But
because it's crazy.
The woman was very, very, very angry.
I love animals. I got 4 pets of my own. Of course I care. It's crazy. That's gotta be scary as fuck. You know how scared animals are of fireworks? It doesn't matter if there's lightning, thunder, tornado siren, or whatever, gunshots. They hear a firework, though, all run for the hills. That's just from my experience with a dog.
You can give them a dog like anxiety medication. You can give them like dog Xanax.
I don't need to medicate
like
my dog. They just need to get.
Why not?
CBD.
It makes them feel so much better.
CBD.
Why not give your dog drugs if they're gonna like it? Like, don't
give
blow
a dog a
don't
gummy
blow
edible?
weed smoke. No, dumbass. There's actual drugs that you can give them that help them when
give
they're
the dog mushrooms.
No,
You're
you
right.
fucking idiot. Yeah, give the dog crystal
heroin?
methamphetamine. That's basically what Cody's saying. Yeah,
A whole
yeah,
tube of
tie up.
toothpaste?
Okay, Cody, let's take your belt off and just tie up a dog arm and let the veins go and hit him with some heroin. Is that what you're saying, Cody? No, goddamn it, Patrick. I'm saying give him some dog Xanax. I mean, Lucia, you
Why
can.
don't I just
you
give
live with
him
2
a
of the
whole
dogs.
can
Amanda's
of,
giving fucking
tuna
dog
while I'm at
Xanax
it,
to them.
Cody. Let me
I've
just give them
seen this in
whatever they
action.
want.
It works
You know?
fantastic.
Just giving you shit. But this reminded me of a story because I didn't think of anything on holidays that was really crazy awful. But I remember one time on 4th of July, speaking of fireworks, there was this guy who was launching bottle rockets in some neighborhood. We usually go over this house to go to fireworks and all this shit. But he was this kid that took them all in the street and it launched up, hit one of those giant satellite dishes. You know that I'm talking about in people's backyards?
Oh,
The
yeah.
big black ones.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
like the size of a trampoline. You know what I mean? It landed in one of those. Exploded and took the whole power out in the entire block, and his parents got sued by the city, $50,000 fucking dollars. They had to
Holy
pay
shit!
What?
over that
Christ.
instance.
What do you mean?
It just
Wow.
it caused such damage with like transformers and everything. It
Why didn't
took
they
out-
lie? They should have just lied. Like, I don't know how that happened. It's the 4th of July. Somebody
Because the people
did they
whose
call and
power
snitch
went
on their
out-
son? Like, whoa, we're so sorry. Our son.
I don't
They
know
blew
the
up
They
full
your
traced
story
it
on
back or something.
Yeah.
I don't know the full story, but here's how I think they traced it. From what I've heard from my uncle is that the people that had the satellite dish, they were the ones that were charged with this. And then they found out through talking to everybody in the neighborhood who it was because someone just eventually gave it up. And then the family had to pay it. And it was a whole thing. Man, it was crazy.
Yeah, it's fucking insane.
But that's all. That's the only crazy holiday shit I can
Any
think of,
crazy
to be honest.
holiday shit, Lucia?
Crazy holiday shit? No, not really. Nothing other than like the typical family drama.
Yeah. all
Nothing
with fire.
sticks out for me either. Like I'm sure there's something, but I forget everything. I drink too
Dude,
much. I
4th of
fucking-
July is like the worst holiday for me. I always have weird shit happen to me on.
What do you
4th of
mean?
July.
Like
Like
what?
it's a cursed day.
3
for you?
years in a row, I burnt my foot with sparklers.
With
Damn,
sparklers,
Luke?
Luke?
That would hurt.
3 years in a row, dude.
Wear shoes. That's the whole answer to your
In
problem.
the same
I
spot.
Just
was a
wear
kid.
shoes
I was a
and you won't have
kid.
this
I was a
problem
kid.
anymore.
I was a kid, and I lived in Price Hill. We didn't wear shoes.
We never learned how fire worked in Price Hill. I mean, out in them hills of Price Hill. I mean, we never
I'm
were
from
taught.
Price Hill too.
Yeah, you're
Same.
talking shit about Lucia right now, Luke. What are you saying about Lucia? That she's as dumb as you? Oh, Lucia, you gonna just take this laying down? Come on.
Hey, I'm in
Clap
Price Hill, and
back.
I believe that
I
shit.
didn't. I don't take anything laying down. First of all,
That's not what I've heard from my inside sources.
I love my roots. Don't get it twisted.
What do you mean you love your roots? You just shit all over your roots, Luke, you fucking liar.
No, I do hate. I hate.
Oh,
I hate-
now
I
our
hate my
guest is
upbringing.
from your roots, and now you love your roots, huh? Oh, okay. All right.
I did have a terrible childhood. Yes.
He's a backpedaler. Lucia, do you see this?
You remember all the
bullshit?
shit he was talking about with the snow globe and saying how his mom hates him and
For
wants him
sure.
to die or something? And
He's
then
playing
all
the
of a sudden,
victim.
surprise! There's a super customizable, crazy amount of work put into this snow globe that I did just for you, my son. My
Yeah.
son. My
You
loving
guys are
son.
not allowed to speculate my family relationships.
Yes,
I don't
I
know,
am.
man. It's just what I'm observant.
That's the contract
You
you
know?
signed when we started doing this podcast, Luke. What do you
Yeah.
mean? It said
There's a
specifically.
contract.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
You didn't.
And your mom's supposed to come on an episode.
It has to
Oh,
happen
no,
tonight.
that
Can you
is
go
not
upstairs?
Oh,
happening.
your mom and your dad at the same time, and you're
That
not
will
allowed on. it.
never happen.
It's required that you have one in-family fight on the podcast. Like, I want to hear your dad yelling at your mom like yelling
Be
back,
honest, Luke.
It
making
would
a
get
snow
ugly
globe, trying to
quick, and
ignore.
I'd probably just leave.
Here, Pat's patio idea. Okay. Are they
Yeah.
on Facebook?
Maybe we can
Why
on
does it
face-
matter?
Can we
I-
get
I
a
think they
Ouija
are.
board to summon my dad up and we could have him yell at my mom.
And I just want to see if I can hit them up maybe and see if they want to do an episode of Pat's patio. You know, just to talk about stuff.
No,
Just a couple of things. Nothing bad. You know, I'll tell you
Patrick,
about
I'll
it afterwards.
castrate you, dog.
Do you think they do it?
Do you want to
Alright,
be a
man.
eunuch?
Bring it on, buddy. Let's do it.
All
I'm
right,
strapped,
all right.
man. Let's do it.
We're going. We got to get more questions in.
Next.
we're still on questions.
There's so many. There is so
Yeah.
fucking many.
We don't have to go through them all.
We don't have to go through anything.
Can I pee real quick?
Yeah,
Yes.
100%. Have you
All
been
right,
holding
cool.
a piss for
I'm
forever?
gonna go do that. Yep.
She's been holding a piss for like 45 minutes, I bet.
Literally, any of us leave whenever.
All right, keep it going. What do you got?
All
What?
right,
There's just a car. Sean Pete just put a fucking car. What is this?
It's a weird ass pink shitty car missing its bumper, and I don't know if I just laughed at it. I think, and I don't
It
even.
looks silly.
It's
Pat
got
made sure to tag me in
stupid-
this. Like this
It's
is
like
pertinent information that you need later, Cody.
No, I was tagging you in this because you made a separate page, and I was like, hey, just in case you need this for later.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and for the car. I really was curious what you thought about the car.
All right, keep
What do
going,
you think
Luke.
about that?
It's a car. It's a
Yeah.
dumb-looking car.
You got
I have
nothing.
nothing to say about
You host
it.
a podcast, and then you say it's a car.
Yeah, I really like. That's not what my podcast skills are. Like, you want to talk about how little my dick is? You want to talk about like crazy cocaine stories? I got you, bro. You want to talk about how much
super
my
personal
asshole
shit.
bleeds? Like, you want to talk about like weird shit in my past? I got a million crazy stories. You want to talk about how this car looks fucked up? I got nothing for you. Yep, it's a fucked up looking car. I don't know what to tell you.
Hey,
Let's
that's podcast radio, baby.
Keep it rolling.
Keep going. Scroll down.
Luke,
What?
Luke, what are you
What
doing?
do you think
This whole
is
thing's
the
falling to
most
pieces.
Believable
Oh.
conspiracy theory you've heard.
I thought these were all replies to the car thing still.
No, dummy.
Yeah, Cody was.
Oh.
It's Cody's fault because he was supposed to go on a whole tangent about how he thought about this car, but instead he really wanted to avoid the question for some weird reason.
I was supposed to go on a whole tangent about how this car just looks
I
kind of
really.
fucked up.
That's the whole point of the. That's the whole point of the car picture, Cody.
The whole
'cause
point is that
people
I was
wanna
gonna have a
know what you
rant
think
about
the
cars.
Car. They know how crazy you are about cars.
Yeah,
and
you
they
know
wanted to
me.
hear an opinion of why is this car here?
Yeah,
Why
every
don't you
week.
wanna give
That's
an
what I do
answer?
on the Bastard Sermon. I sit down, I talk about cars broken down on the side of the road that look like they need a fucking boot on the side of them. Yeah, that's what I do. That's what the Bastard Sermon's really about. It's about
all
cars
about
that
your
need to be
car
towed
theories.
to a lot for you to pay $50 for. I don't know what to tell you. It's a
Just gave
shit
an
ass
answer
looking
and
car. What do you want me to
posted it for
do,
us to
Pat?
Talk about, and we have to talk about the car.
Ah, Christ. There's nothing to say about that.
Anyway,
Lucia,
fucking
please.
Hey, dude.
Let's.
God damn.
Lucia, do you got anything to offer about this car? You got any exciting car information
We need
based
to
on
talk
this
about
photograph?
car.
No, we don't.
Let me save you some
First-
time. Probably not. But I'm sorry, keep going.
First of all, where's the grill?
Right? Where is that? That's a whole topic in itself. We could probably talk about that for 20 minutes. You know?
Why are the headlights mismatched?
What is that a headlight up on the top of it there too?
I think that's like a third, like a third eye, like a reflector. Like I think there's a set, like I think it
third
does
eye.
have the symmetrical headlight. I
And
just think
why are
that's
there
like a
mud
third
flaps?
edition.
Why are there mud flaps that big on it and it's a coupe?
To
It's on
keep
both
mud off
sides.
the tires, duh.
But-
Come on, what do you mean?
You're missing this, Lucia. It's lifted.
I mean, it's lifted and it's got a beautiful paint job. You know, the pink and white stripes from the
No,
80s
it doesn't.
almost.
If you think that's a beautiful paint job,
It's
I don't want
beautiful.
your opinion on anything with clothes or.
Do you-
or
let me ask you this.
anything Or,
Here, Luke, let me argue with you real quick, okay?
let's hear it,
You
bud.
you like mangas, right? You
Love
like
'em.
anime, right?
I do.
Then you like art, right? You like color.
I do.
That's
yes.
right. And that car has lots of personality and lots of color. Lots of lore behind that car.
I
All right,
hate you.
you're
That
a
was
total
the
hypocrite
worst
for not enjoying
correlation
the beauty.
ever.
You're a hypocrite for not enjoying the beauty of what is before you.
I'll fucking cut your fucking beard off your face. You keep talking shit like that, dude.
All right, I've dedicated enough time to this car, so
Thank you.
there you go, Sean. I
Move
saved
on.
All right, Allie had one in that. Let me see if I could still share this. Oh no. Oh, my computer's fucking up. Take it over.
It's basically what do you think is the most believable conspiracy theory?
you. That mattress firm is a money
That's your
laundering.
conspiracy.
It's a money laundering fucking extravaganza over there. All right, it's so believable. I
Patrick.
believe it. And I think it goes all the way to President Trump.
Can you set up that conspiracy theory? Because you didn't really say anything about it. You said it like everybody was already supposed to know
Because
the
I've talked
conspiracy.
about it.
Right, but like nobody listens to
Do you
this.
listen
so
to the show if you're listening to this episode right
Who
now?
cares? Talk about it like
Listen.
nobody's ever heard us before. Tell them the
I
conspiracy.
want you to listen with an open mind and an open heart. Okay? Open your eyes a little bit. Your third eye, like that car, that beautiful car. But basically, you see all these mattress firms on one street, like Glenway, for example. There's 3 of them. How often you going to get a bed, dude? Not a lot. Maybe once every 5 to 20 years or something like that. And you go in there, and there's no one ever in there. And the only time you ever go in there is really just because you're bored and you don't know what else to do while you're sitting in the strip. And you go in there, there's no one there. You see that they're all over the place. It's like, how do they make their money? How do they afford to pay their employees? How the fuck do they have so many stores? No one's getting a bed that often, and you don't even spend that much on a bed. So yeah, it's a total money laundering scheme, and it's a serious one. We need to have the CIA investigate how serious.
Pat is a cop.
Is required.
Pat is the
Have
police.
you thought about that?
We have to get the
Glenway
CIA
gives
to
access-
investigate? What do you
Glenway
mean?
Yeah,
gives
dude.
access to 3 different like civil classes. You know, they probably have 3 of them for each.
I'm gonna take the bastard money we make over the next 6 months, and I'm gonna combine it together, and I'm gonna get a private detective, and I'm gonna tell you guys how wrong you guys are.
No, you're not. That's money for our studio. What do you mean? Pat's like, yeah, I'm gonna take all the money
It's
we
only
earn
That's out of
$100
collectively.
your own pocket, you
No,
motherfucker.
this is for the podcast.
No, it's
Yeah,
not.
put it on your
It's-
credit card then, dummy. Don't
It's
fucking
okay, guys.
charge
It's only
us.
a couple $100.
Oh
We won't
man.
use it for anything. It's a private detective, and then we can have him on the show. We'll pay him an additional private detective fee to get him on the
Listen
show.
here, bud. No real private detective is only going to take a couple $100 to find out if there's like a mass organization of mattress firms on Glenway Crossing for you. And,
That's just an example.
And if they do take a couple $100, they're probably some sketchy dude on like Craigslist.
I mean, I won't lie. That's where I'd probably look to find a private detective, but they'll do good work. They'll do.
No, they
I'll
won't.
ask him. I'll ask him for reviews.
No, they won't.
I'll ask him for reviews. Lucia, you think this is a good idea, right? Like, this is like. Do you want to get to the bottom of this with me?
Okay, sure.
There we go. We're
That's
gonna
how
figure
dumb
this
your
out.
idea is, Pat. Like, Lucia's been half asleep your whole time talking, like, trying to keep her head up. She's just been sitting there like, oh, fuck, when's he going to be done talking about this dumb mattress idea so that I can talk
When-
about
Everybody
anything but
thinks
this?
it's crazy, but it will.
When
you
are
guys
we gonna
be
get?
stupid.
When are we gonna get to the raunchy, like edgy shit? Like, can we like cut to
Let's
that?
go
Like,
now. Yeah, I
Thank
don't care.
let's
What do
get
you want?
You.
Yeah.
I mean, like we only have like 30 minutes left in this episode, right? Like, let's.
So we go to the Patreon. Yeah. What do you want?
Yeah.
Anything
enough
that you
yeah,
want.
so the Patreon. I don't fucking know. Like, what's the craziest story that you've ever done within a venue during a show? Like, let's start there. How about that?
All right, Pat, you used to be
Patrick,
a
the
lead
cra-
singer of a super hardcore metalcore band, so you probably got the
Used to be
hardest
super big back
stories
in the
out of
day.
all of us, Pat. Let
It's
us
a
hear
different
these
time, guys.
crazy,
Please,
insane
please,
stories.
Save. I'll get you an autograph later. Don't worry. All right. I'll sign your tits. It'll be good. All right, Cody. No, I mean there was like, if you want to talk about cringy times, I mean, the worst
Sign 'em
one
now,
is when
Pat.
I had.
I said raunchy. I didn't
worst-
say cringy.
Oh, well, raunchy. I mean, I remember there was like a bad time. Like, it was like the first time I ever got my dad to finally go to a show, ever, and it was at this venue, Radio Down, which was behind the Mad Hatter back in the day.
I remember Radio Down.
And it was their first show that they had, and then they had this was the last show. The first show was with Norma Jean. We got to play that one. The last one was with like a bunch of like these gothic carnival kind of style themed bands, and it was totally out of our elements. And we had a new guitarist that was hooked on heroin at the time. We've had 2 different members that were hooked on those, and this guy, when he came, he was really late. We had a new guitarist that night as well that didn't know any of the songs at all. So he was a really good guitarist, so he got to keep up with it where we could follow along. But we go up on stage. We shouldn't have played the show. We weren't ready. My dad comes, and he brings my boss at the same time. And I'm just like, oh, my God, no, this is bad. This is like the worst show that my dad could have gone to. It was his first time ever going. And he's like a captain of the football team, kind of super conservative guy going to like a heavy metal show. And you're just like, oh, no, this is not good. Why are you here? So we get up on stage and we're getting ready to play. And the guitarist that was on heroin was super late. And he gets up on stage, and we had a lights guy too. So we had like this situation in the back where we had these floodlights, and you turn a dial and it would flicker him back and forth. You turn off all the other lights, and it made a really cool stage effect. And it was good for photos. But we had a guy that had to control that, and he was in the back behind the heroin guitarist. And the heroin guitarist was playing 3 measures behind us the entire show. And he was he was the backup singer too. Okay, so he sang the choruses. So I do my part, he's 3 measures behind starting the chorus, and the chorus goes on beyond where it needs to into like the next verse. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So it's just overlapping, and it sounds horrible. And I tripped over the drum mic.
You got hair in your face. Your
Oh,
heart
yeah.
is
I-
pounding. You got mom's chicken tenders in your stomach.
Tendies, you know, I got you know, I got the tendies on file. No, I tripped over the drum mic, and it was just totally embarrassed. We were playing a breakdown. No one practiced ever before. It was a shit show. I get off stage, and I'm like, kill me now. And my dad notices I have a fucking tattoo on my chest, and it was the first time he ever saw that I had tattoos. And I had to fucking explain and lie to him that someone drew on my chest.
How old were you at that point?
I was 20.
You were 20?
I was 20.
And you were still scared of your dad seeing that you had tattoos?
You don't know my dad like I do. You know what I mean? Like I was saying earlier, he's super conservative, total opposite
Hey, like I
beliefs
said
than
earlier,
I do.
don't assume my parental relationships.
Exactly. But I still want
Oh,
them on
snap.
Pat's patio. But still, he came there, and it was just a really weird night, too, because, like, we played a horrible show. It was probably one of the worst shows I ever played in my whole life. Like, it's embarrassing. Like, burned into my mind.
Wow, Pat, what a
Like,
raunchy
people were really
story.
but people were really into, I don't know. It's just the only thing I could think of on the top of my head. But people liked it, and then there was, like, this one other time where someone came up to me and said they would give me $2,000 to buy us a tour van. That same show. It
Oh,
was the weirdest night of my life.
and all you had to
Let
do
me
was
give you money so I can buy you a van.
They were, yeah, like they wanted to pay
Super
for our
weird.
tour van. It was just like super weird. Like someone came up to us after that whole night was shitty and just said, "Hey, you guys want $2,000 for a tour van or something?" Even though it was like awful. I don't know. I'm just thinking of the whole night as like a whole story to just tell.
That was
I don't
Patrick
have anything
from the
else.
future.
That reminds me
Yeah.
of a story. So when I worked at this hotel that I used to work at, I've told the stories about shoveling shit there and finding like dead people and fucking hypodermic needles everywhere and shit like that. So one time there was this dude Vladimir that came in. I don't remember what country he was from. I don't think it was Transylvania.
I
That'd be
wonder.
too fucking skeptical. I'd be super skeptical of it being Transylvania, but he had like a weird like accent from somewhere Eastern fucking European type of country. I don't know if it was like the Ukraine or whatever, but Vladimir came in there and he was talking to me for way too long when I was working front desk, like just about nothing, like just trying to make dumb conversation for no reason. I'm like, are you buying a room or not? Like, can we? He's like, oh yeah. And he's like, oh, do you like these paintings on the wall? I hear that you paint. And I was like, where'd you hear that from? And he was like, Eric, the maintenance man. And I was like, okay, well, yeah, I talked to Eric about it. Yeah, I paint. He's like, you paint something like this? And I was like, no, I paint like crazy looking shit, like demons and skulls and lions and tigers, oh my. And he's like, okay, well, you think that I could get a painting? And I have people talking to me about paintings all the time. And I was like, yeah, sure, $700. Like, just give him, like, I don't want to paint for this fucking weirdo at my hotel. I'm like, yeah, $700. Like, just throwing out figures that nobody's going to be able to match ever. He was like, okay. And he reaches into his pocket and he's like, let me pay deposit for the thing. And he like gets his hand stuck and then like twists his hand so that it's unstuck. And he pulls out a fat stack of bills. Then he starts going past $100 bills for a fat minute. And then gets to 20s and then pulls out fucking like $300 worth of 20s. And he's like, here is for the supplies. And I was like, oh shit, this dude's being for real. And I was like, I could paint anything. And he was like, yeah, whatever you want. I was like, okay, great. Fucking, you give me $300. You know where I work, so I have to do this. So I dig through paintings that I already have made because he's a 65-year-old man, doesn't give a fuck, and it seems like he has weird ulterior motives for giving me $300. And I'm like, I don't know. Here's this painting that might be worth
Wants you to be a
$100.
sugar baby.
Yeah, that's what it. Hold on, I'll get there. I'll get there, Lucia. I go through my portfolio. I'm like, this one looks like $100. He'll probably take the $300 for it, not pay me for the rest. And I'm like, hey, I got a painting for you. And he's like, can you send me the painting? So I text him a picture of it. He's like, yeah, perfect. Can you write your email address and your age and your sex on the back of the painting? And I was like, yeah, I guess. Like, write a fake
really weird.
email, like fake, like all this shit. He's like, he wants like a bunch of weird information. I don't remember exactly what it, but I know it was like my email, my age, and my sex on the back of the thing. And I was like, okay. And he hits me up. I was like, dude, I haven't seen you at work. When can I give you this thing? You've already paid me $300. I'm expecting all I'm going to get is $300, even though I said $700. And he was like, oh, yeah, I got your other $400. But you got to come up and meet me at the second building. The first building's where I worked in the front desk. The next building on the back is where he was at in the very back parking lot. And he was like, yeah, meet me at like 11 p.m. And I was like, 11 p.m.? What the fuck? Like, I'm not even working that day. It was like a Tuesday or some shit. And I go up there and I show up. And I'm like, dude, I'm here. Which building are you in? And I thought that you were in whatever room. And then he was like, no, I'm down here. So he gives me a different address on the phone. Like, this whole thing had to have been a setup for him to murder me and just fuck my lifeless corpse to death. But luckily, I got out of here. I'll get to that. But, yeah, so he was like, no, it's this room, and I have to go around the whole building. It's on the front, on the second staircase. I get up there, and then I knock on the door, and he opens the door. He's wearing tidy whities. He's got a half a boner that I can see in his tidy whities. He's got a shirt. He's got a blazer on, and he's got a tie that's untied around his neck, and he's got papers everywhere, and he's like, come in. And I was like, nah, dude, I'm cool on getting murdered tonight and having my fucking skull used as an ashtray. No thanks. And he was like,
Right.
I don't say that, but I'm thinking it. I was like, nah, I'm cool. Could I just get the money? Here's the painting. Like, can I get the fuck out of here? I've got, like, already running position in case he's got a gun. Like, I'm ready to go. Like, you ever seen a decathlon runner, like, waiting for the fucking thing? Like, just, like posted for the thing. I'm ready for the gun to come out, like, half in the door, half out. Ready to just get the fuck out of here before dude kills me and fucking does whatever with my body. And he's like, oh, yeah, I got your money. And he comes back up and gets, like, super, like, face-to-face close with, like, now he's rocking a 3/4 chub. And I look down, like, rock-hard 4-inch dick coming out the pants. And I'm like, all right, thanks for the money. Gotta go. Just, like, I'm about to jump the railing to get out of there. And he's like, wait. You didn't write down your phone number. And I was like, you got my phone number.
Oh, my God.
And I was like, Jesus fucking
Wow.
Christ. So, yeah. There's my, whatever, raunchy. It's not that raunchy. Some dude wanted to fuck me, but too old for my taste. This guy wants to fuck me. I mean, come on, $700? Let's go $7,000. And you gotta, like, no art. Like, no art in between. Tell me what you're trying to do. But fucking $700? How dare you disgrace me with thinking that you're just gonna use my skull as an ashtray and my belly button as a fleshlight for your penis for $700? Come on, man.
Nasty.
$7,000 so that my family can have a good funeral. All right, Luke, you got anything? Any weird raunchy stories? I don't know.
No, not really. Well, I mean, I guess I could talk about my job since I'm not there anymore, but
Oh yeah. Get into
I don't
that.
have anything crazy. Recently, since I was let go, before I had to consistently for weeks after the Corona shutdown and theaters came back up, we were finding like shit on our building. Like people, like someone was just like
poop, like actual poop.
Yeah, just taking shits on our building, like not on the floor, on our building. There was one time he shit on our bushes, like all over the bushes. But yeah, he also like left our water pump on for hours at a time. But he came into the theater and he's talking to me and he's explaining that his like eyes are fluttering and he's stuttering around and he's like, hey man, when's the next movie? And I'm like, you got 15 minutes, dog.
Well,
and he's like, can I get it? And I was like,
Sure.
sure.
I get it.
Do you have money? And he like pulls out his backpack and he's like stumbling around, but his eyes aren't open and his hands are like looking around. And he's not pulling it out, but he's telling me, or he's asking me if he can go sit down in his theater. I'm like, as soon as you pay me, sir. And he's like, I just need to sit down right now. Can I go in there now? And I'm like, as soon as you buy this ticket, sir, I promise I'll let you sit down in this theater. And he couldn't find the money, and he like got his eyes straight. He looked me in the eyes and he said, listen, man, I just took a whole bunch of NyQuil and I'm not trying to ruin my high right now. And I'm trying to fall asleep and I can't stand up straight. So you let me in that theater or you give me a seat to sit down in right now. And I was like, bud, you can go sit down on the floor right over there. But long story short, I had to call the police to get him removed. He did come at me and ask me to go outside with him
Wow.
I didn't, but he continued to shit on the building, and now I don't work there, so I can't fight the guy anymore.
Damn, what a wild life that guy had. I remember you first telling me that story, and I was just like, man, this guy's determined.
Quarantine's really killing our weird story game. Like, we have no good weird stories anymore, guys. Like, all of our stories are like, let me reach 8 years back, or like, yeah, this kind of weird thing happened, but I guess it's podcast
I'm not
content.
going out and doing anything. I'm not seeing
I've been
anybody.
trapped in my fucking house for the last, like, 2 weeks with my son. Like, I got to go to work 2 days out of the whole 2 weeks.
I promise,
I've been doing
the moment
nothing.
this shit is lifted, I'm gonna eat like 2 tabs of acid, and I'm gonna get like actual drunk with like Cody, and we're gonna go. I don't know,
Please.
bar hopping or something.
We gotta
Like,
make
it's
some
gonna get weird.
content.
Like,
We
we're
gotta
gonna
fucking-
make stories.
Lucia,
It's happening.
I know we're dropping the ball on you because you've been listening, expecting an experience, and then we come in like, here's a recycled story from the Patreon that we released last week. Like, I honestly,
Well,
I've
I've
been
got stuff to
sitting.
talk about, but it's stuff I'm saving for the Patreon episode.
Why are you saving it? Give the free listeners something. But then I say that, and then we get to the Patreon, and we're like, well, we got to fill an hour.
I heard a fucked up
Got
story
nothing.
the other day at my job.
Tell
You
me.
guys want to hear it? This lady, so I work in IT, and usually I'll just, I'll chat with people on the phone from time to time if I'm not around them, whatever, if I have to. And this lady who I've only talked to like one time before, I was helping her with some dumbass issue she was too stupid to figure out, but she was like saying, I have one other request for you, but it's not a work related request. And I was like, okay. And she's like, I need you to pray for my son. And I was
What?
like, okay, like what's going on? I didn't want to ask what's going on, but she was like, tell me her whole life story. Like I was like some therapist or whatever. And it's really hard to sit there on the phone and listen to this whole thing. She kept me on the phone for like 10, 15 minutes, but she said, my son's going through a rough time right now with his roommate and stuff. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Roommates can suck to live with sometimes. And she's like, yeah, he killed his dog. And I was like,
Jesus
he
Christ.
killed his dog? And she's told me the whole story and said that him and the roommate had this big disagreement about something. And this guy, the son, always took the dog with him anywhere he went, even to work. I don't know what the fuck he works at, but this is just what she told me. But one day he didn't take the dog, and the roommate let the dog out and convinced the neighbor somehow to shoot the dog 5 times. And they buried the dog before the guy knew about it.
Dude.
And so, yeah, and so the son apparently got a call from called the roommate and said, hey, how's my dog doing or whatever. And he just straight up nonchalantly says, oh, your dog's dead. We buried him. I'm sorry.
Jesus fucking
It was
Christ.
crazy.
Every time Patrick starts talking about animals, he's like, yeah, I got a good story. Yeah, this dog got tortured to death. The cigarettes put out in his
Awful.
eyeballs, and they took out the dog's kneecaps, and then they found concrete that was still drying, and they put the dog's head in it just so that it, like, as
Hey,
it was drying.
I'm not
and I'm
a-
like,
I don't
Pat's
like
like, oh,
animal
this is my
abuse
really funny
at
story
all.
for the week.
And
Like,
I don't say
no.
they're funny. They're just crazy, all right? Like when she was asking about raunchy stories, like the only thing I could think of as raunchy is stuff I don't feel like talking about on the air for people to know about. And the first thing that came to mind was that band story or whatever. But when it comes to like this stuff, I wasn't involved with it, whatever. That's just what was told to me. And it's fucking crazy. And it's something I feel like people should know, because animal abuse is not fucking okay. And it's fucked up shit that people do out there. And you should be aware
Sure.
of it. So yeah, I'm going to talk
Yeah.
about it. And even it is a crazy story, and people should hear it.
Well, thanks,
And
Pat. I didn't
that's all
know
I'm
animal
saying.
abuse was bad until you told me.
Pat, you're absolutely
just
right.
saying,
you,
like-
you are absolutely right.
I shouldn't
I-
have to
he-
defend telling the story.
he's
It's not like I'm laughing
100.
at it.
He's 100% right, but also can we just like applaud his skill to like totally turn the defense around? Like he was laughed at and he was like, hold on, let me turn this into a white knight moment where everyone is patting my back. Like it was incredible. How well that transitioned.
No, Pat totally.
But
has
it's
a
very
point.
real. Like, yeah,
Yeah,
he's right.
yeah.
He's very
Pat totally
right.
has a point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes,
It is
animal
really-
abuse
I,
is
I'm
bad.
just telling a crazy story, but I mean, there's a lot of meaning behind it.
We
you
all know that,
Whatever.
though. Did anybody
Yeah,
tune into the
well-
bastard sermon to have people tell you things that we already knew.
Nobody is trying to negate that here, for sure.
Oh no, not for sure. I just like arguing with Cody. I'm just making things
This is the dynamic. Yes,
This is the dynamic.
I'm trying to
argue.
shit on them so that they shit on me back. But now, for whatever reason, Pat's like, "No, seriously though, animal abuse is bad." And I'm like, "Yeah, I know. I thought we were doing a thing here."
Side, it's a problem. Stop making
It's
fun
a
of my
problem,
theory.
and we should donate a measly penny
more
to
jokes
save,
about
to
it,
help
Cody.
them. But go on.
All right, Lucia, you asked us about this. What's your craziest, most recent story that you got for us? Come on, I know you got something.
Most recent.
It doesn't have to be most recent.
I don't have anything recent because of like COVID and everything that's going on. But like the story that stands out to me the most is like Hometown Throwdown and the punk rock festival, quote unquote, that I threw when I was a teenager.
We lost Lucia, I think.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh, no.
Oh Jesus.
Yeah,
Lucia,
I
you
think
still
we
there?
lost her.
She's gone.
There
Oh,
was like
no.
a hum when she was. Let's put it to a pause. We'll be right back, folks.
All right.
I'm
Don't-
sorry.
All right, we're back.
So-
We're back.
We're back, and Lucia, we lost you when you were telling us about you starting up the punk rock festival when you were a teenager, and then that's when you disappeared.
Yeah, so I held this show. It was two shows that went on for a couple years. It was called Hometown Throwdown, and it was a local punk rock festival, quote unquote. It's because there were multiple bands that played on the bill every year, and it was like a showcase of like what we thought were the best like acts that like drew out the most crowds and whatever and had the most energy, and like we combined it into one. And the first time that I ever did this, like I was still like a kid, and I had a venue which was once known as the Blue Rock Tavern that hosted this for me, the first one. And I booked this in February of 2008 or 2009 or something, one of those years. And we carried it out in June, like right at the start of summer. And there were so many bands on it, and all of the bands that were on it had been promoting online and everything already, to the point that where when me being the person that had organized the show, when I showed up to the venue, I already could not walk through the venue. There were so many people crammed in there.
God damn.
Yeah, and that amount of like I really have to give it to the bands that were on that show, because we all like really worked for it. I was the one that curated it, but everybody else was like, we're gonna bring our people, and that's what they did. But anyway, this show happened, and it went so well that all of Northside, Cincinnati, was there at the time, like anybody that was in like the alternative culture. And it got to the point where one of my headliners started playing, and somebody in the crowd thought it would be a good idea to throw a bottle at the vocalist, and that they were gushing blood everywhere.
Oh my
Yikes.
God.
Yeah. They cut themselves open pretty fierce. Like if you're listening right now, like you know who I'm talking about. Like, hi dude, I hope you're doing okay.
God damn.
Because we're friends on Facebook, so they may or may not
Lucia.
hear this
Lucia, where did they get cut?
on their face.
Right, but where? Like, was it over the eye or like on the chin? Like, where was it? Could you see it, or was it just a
I think
blood
it was
everywhere?
like right over. I think it was like right over the eye, because they were bleeding. They were
Oh,
bleeding
damn.
all over their face. Yeah.
Damn.
God damn.
Sliced.
So this incited basically a full-blown riot, to the point where the bar was in an all-out brawl, and paddy wagons showed up. The cops came and started like tasing people and handcuffing people left and right. Yeah.
God damn.
There was like outside of my own show, there were people like sitting on the curb like in handcuffs and shit. And and that was my first like introduction to curating events like in the punk rock world.
Yeah. Damn, man. I don't know why people like to start any problems over in venues and shit.
Yeah.
Just like we're all here to have a
like-
good time. But I've like seen people bring in like their fights and shit into the shows, and it's just like this is all stupid teenager bullshit, high school
Like a
shit. Why is this
bottle
drama
of
here?
all things. A bottle,
That's happened.
dude?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know it's
There
happened,
there
but I
were
mean,
there were
like,
rumors that
fuck.
it was like brass knuckles, and then like there were people that were saying a glass bottle got thrown. I believe the bottle story, like just because of like how it played out,
happens.
but that doesn't matter though. Like that glass bottle or brass knuckles getting thrown incited a full-on fucking riot,
Dude,
to
it's
the
ridiculous.
point, the point
Lucia.
where police showed.
Go to the
yeah.
hospital.
Allegedly, you know the people. Allegedly, in a fairy tale, in a fiction book that Luke's writing right now, you know the people that gave brownies that may or may not have had laxatives in them to Stizza from Leftover Crack. Can we talk about that? I want to hear that story so fucking bad,
wow.
please.
I was not there for that, but I heard rumors that there were people that gave Stizza. Wait, was it Stizza?
It might have been Ezra.
Yeah, no. If it was Stizza. But I wasn't actually there for it though.
Didn't Stizza like shit his pants on stage?
No, so Stizza got into some bullshit with the local punks around here. This was like, guys, like we're talking like 2007, 2008. Like this was a long time ago.
Oh fuck.
And the rumors are, God, oh my God, I hope I don't get fucking sued for this.
You won't.
The rumors
we
are,
say crazy shit here. Don't worry about it. You won't.
the rumors are Stizza got scared as fuck when the local Sensi punks were like trying to confront him, and Stizza went back onto the bus and threatened to call the cops. And that's all I heard. Like I wasn't there. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Makes
I
sense.
just heard about it from like when I was younger. We were all hanging out. I remember you telling a story about that, or like somebody. I don't want to say any names. I
This
don't
all
want to
allegedly
get too
happened.
deep with this. But if you guys aren't familiar, Stizza, the people that we're talking about, started a band called Choking Victim, and then Choking Victim broke up in the midst of recording their one album, No Gods, No Managers, and formed a bunch of other bands, and it broke out into this crack rock movement where it's all about like punk rocks out of
Crack rock steady.
yeah, crack rock steady. The punk rockers out of New York that are living as squatters and shit like that, idolizing Wu-Tang Clan and fucking making their name out of the ancient
Yeah.
alphabet and stuff like that. That's why their names are like Stizza and Ezra, just like
Ezra.
RZA and Jizza and shit like that. They made all these different things, and they all pride themselves in
That's
being
comedy.
like crack smoking, heroin shooting, stealing, robbing, police punching, fucking squatting, lice in their hair, crazy people. And this guy comes to Cincinnati, and allegedly, in this fictional tale that Patrick wrote for his English major class, allegedly, some people that Lucia knows in this fictional tale that we
Knew.
can't get sued for because it's complete fiction.
Allegedly.
I'll just say that I know them. That I
Allegedly.
know them. She doesn't know them. I know them. They allegedly gave Stizza, the guy that's like, listen to my song about killing yourself and shooting heroin and smoking crack and punching the police and killing the police and dumping them in rivers. I'm never gonna work in Cincinnati again because people gave me some brownies that they said had weed in it, but oh, it's laxatives. Like, you're the dude that's like literally promoting suicide and all this crazy shit, and you're like,
Yeah.
oh, Cincinnati's too extreme for me. Like, you live
Yeah.
in fucking New York City. Shut your mouth. Like, what are you talking about? And then everybody in the punk rock scene fucking, I wasn't there for this, but this is the trickle down that I've heard from the people that were there. Like, oh, he's a bitch. He's not really about it. Like, he fucking preaches, but he doesn't actually practice. Like, that's all that I heard about after all this shit went down. Like, I just thought that it was fucking hilarious.
There was also another story of punk rock celebrities that came to town with a friend of mine that I know that is on my Facebook friends list that could very well be listening to this episode right now.
What up?
Jello Biafra came
from the
to
dead Kennedys.
came to Cincinnati and played like a spoken word show, or it was like a solo show. Or something. It wasn't the Dead Kennedys, but like it was just Jello, just being fucking Jello, and
Trying to get on that Henry Rollins hype train.
Exactly, and one of our friends was a very detailed artist at the time, and grabbed a bar napkin, or it was like a flyer or something, and like on the reverse side of it drew a very detailed picture of a Frankendick and gave it to Jello Biafra, and Jello Biafra saw it on the merch booth where he was like hanging out, and saw it and like winced and got like super offended and crumpled it up and threw it away. And that was, I don't know, that was...
What a puss. What is Jello Biafra doing? Like, when those dudes get old, they get so fucking lame. I mean, Stizzo will still be shooting heroin into his penis, talking about how bad it was that fucking Cincinnati drugged him with some laxatives, or Jello Biafra is like talking about that. It's like, what did you come up with? Like, what kind of scene did you think you were a part of? Like, you're inspiring a bunch of crazy fuckheads like this that feel like they don't have any home, and you give them a home, and then one of those people 40 years later acts like that, and you're like, oh no, I've evolved beyond that. And it's like, nobody gives a fuck what you're doing now. It's all about what you did fucking 40 years ago that everybody's fucking gravitating towards. All right, we're turning into a pumpkin. Lucia, before we do the Patreon, if you still want to do the Patreon, do you have anything for the free cast?
I'm hanging out.
Dope. Plug anything that you want to plug right now, and then we'll get into our reads. Lucia first.
I don't have anything to present right now, but I'm in a band called Dearly Disgraced. It is with myself and Jesse Myrose of, if anybody like that has known me for a long time, with Secondhand Sex, and we were like regionally known for a while. And our crowning achievement was we opened up for Millions of Dead Cops and the Subhumans. But after 10 years, after losing our bass player, we are finally reformed, and we are back in the studio. Thank you. We are back in the studio working together and taking our new experiences and making them something new. It's not just something punk rock. It's like, it's new and improved. You guys will hear it soon, promise. Like, we have a whole fucking like setup here now in the studio, like a whole drum set and everything. Like, it is going to be what it was, but better.
Cool.
I just want to
say, fucking awesome.
Knowing Lucia for as many years as I've known her, she is one of the most multi-talented musicians that I've ever met. Like, me and her used to jam in a little band in that basement that she's living in right now. Like, me and Sean and her used to do a little something that was never going to go anywhere, but it was a lot of fun. And I realized doing that with her that anything that you've picked up, you fucking nail it with. Like, you do a great job with, and I'm super excited to hear that you're
second that.
Getting any type of music, because I know that it's going to be quality.
I third it.
Everything that I've heard that you've done is quality. Everything that I've done personally with you is fucking quality, even if it's just covering fucking old Bad Religion songs and old fucking like Less Than Jake songs and Choking Victim and shit like that. Like, even if it was just like covers and stuff like that, you nailed it every time on any instrument that you stepped up on, and I can't wait to hear what you're doing right now. Fucking props. Go check that shit out whenever it's available. All right.
It will be soon.
Hell yeah. All right, more from Lucia after these ad reads on the Patreon.
Nice.
Go pay $5 if you want to hear it. Patrick or Luke?
Come check it out. So the first sponsor I want to give a quick shout out to is Hail Dark Aesthetics on 720 Main Street, Covington, Kentucky 41011. If you go there, you can get some badass records. You can get some sweet taxidermy. They have some great people there. Go check it out. And if you go to the checkout lane, just say Hail Bastards, and they'll give you 10% off. They got a new website coming, and we'll have that up once it's here. They'll let you know, and we will too. They're open Monday through Friday, 12 to 7 p.m., and then Sunday, 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. Again, 720 Main Street, Covington, Kentucky, 41011.
And if you want to get some nice, excellent quality, and I'm talking quality, top shelf glass headwear, you want to go on over to Scarlet Vape and Smoke Shop. Scarlet Vape and Smoke Shop has got what you need when it comes to your smoke needs. Whether it be paper, whether it be glass, whether it be kratom, they have it, and they've got it at excellent prices And if you want to add an even better price, go on up to the counter and tell them that you are a bastard, that you listen to the Bastard Sermon, and they'll hook you up with a 10% discount.
And it'll make your penis
And
bigger.
you can follow
or
them.
your vagina. It'll make your penis or vagina any size that you want it to. You just take some of the Scarlet Vape and Smoke Kratom, and you take enough to black out on. You'll wake up with either the bigger vagina or penis, whichever one you've requested from the Kratom gods. And they totally said that was fine for me to say, and this isn't false advertising at all. It's totally cool if we say this. We were actually paid to say this right now.
It's all extra just for that little bit.
The Bastard Sermon was not paid to say any of that. That's a complete miscalculation by Cody.
If you want,
it will not make your penis bigger by taking Kratom.
If you want to know where you can get your
Or your
penis or vagina Kratom, you can go and find Scarlet Vape and Smoke Shop at 11424 Montgomery Road, Cincinnati, Ohio 45249. Or you can find them at 937 Monmouth Street, Newport, Kentucky, 41071.
And then Cody Best at Clifton Barbers. Go check out Clifton Barbers. I'm actually about to go get a haircut there this Saturday. It's going to be my first time to be at a barber and get this whole cool hair experience.
When's he going to shave my balls, by the way? He said he was going to straight razor shave my balls.
Hey,
and it's yet to happen. Where the fuck are you, Cody Best?
It's
I'll pull
COVID.
my balls out right now, and I want Cody Best to appear like a Fairly Odd
You're a
magician.
maniac.
I'll remind him, and we'll get this settled.
All right.
But yeah, go check them out at 337 Ludlow Avenue, or go to their Instagram or Facebook at Clifton Barbers, which has Instagram links to all the personal accounts. They have no walk-ins at the moment due to COVID. It's appointment only. You can also do online booking. It's cash only as well, 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. Tuesday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Saturday. Go check out Clifton Barbers.
But especially Cody Best. Hit him up. He's the one that gives us
sure.
money. I don't care if you give anybody else money. Give Cody Best money. He gives us money. Give it back to
Cody
him. Please,
Best
God.
money.
Give
And
it to him.
last but not least, we are sponsored by the amazing, the talented, the incredible, the long dick wizard, Anthony Tank Mansfield. He runs the Kneel to No One brand. If you want to check him out, you go to either his Instagram or his website. That's at KNEELTONOONE.com or at Kneel to No One, spelled the same way on Instagram. Hit him up for his fine selection of beerware, glasses that has these super fucking cool designs on them that you can drink your oily beer that I enjoy, or your piss water fucking dog piss that Luke enjoys for a sexual reason, not the same as me. But go and check that out. Go get yourself a t-shirt. I haven't had any of my t-shirts. I got these like 2.5, 3 years ago, something like that, whenever Mansfield started sponsoring us. Never faded, never shrunk, never warped. They're still fantastic. Go get some fucking t-shirts, get a fucking glass. I still haven't broken the glass. I've dropped them before and still haven't broken them. It must be that long dick wizardry that's making them not break. And you can get a motherfucking custom design starting at $30. Also, thanks, Canadian listeners, for being Mansfield's first out of what's it
Out
called?
of the country.
Yeah, out of the nation purchase. That's phenomenal. International
Yeah,
purchases
super cool.
coming through. We
Thanks for-
appreciate everybody
yeah.
worldwide.
Thanks for supporting all of our sponsors. Seriously, they're good guys, and we wouldn't sponsor them if they weren't the shit.
Guys, I'm hammered, and I'm sorry if this Patreon's a mess because of me. I'm sorry in advance, but it'll still be fun regardless.
Yeah.
And if it's not, go and listen to the podcast that I just recorded with Tiff and Steve.
Shut up. We're still going to do this.
Lucia,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I shouldn't have drank this much.
What?
Last two things real quick. Shout out. Be sure to go check out my art page, Dark Mountain Cult. If you want to get some art, I'd love to draw you something. Let's just make it fun.
It's
and be
phenomenal.
sure to check out our Twitch channel. Luke, give that description real quick.
Check us out at twitch.tv/tbspodgaming. I start up the stream at 3 or 3:30 every Tuesday before we record the podcast. And I don't really stream too much beyond that, but
It's a
when
good
I
time,
do,
though.
It's usually spontaneous. Yeah, thank you. It is.
I jump on every week with him. I fucking love it. If he would just learn how to turn down the sound effects and turn up his own mic, it would be an even better show.
Hey, I fixed the sound effect problem, but I still need to turn myself up.
You sound great, man. Everybody kind of hit you all at once in the chat room because there's a little fucking chat where everybody can drop their little replies, and everybody was like, "Fucking turn your mic up, turn the sound effects down." And as soon as you did it, I was super stoked. You were playing it with the juggalo this time. Everybody, check all this shit out. We love you. We'll be back.